community, but
All right,
then I want you
guys,
to
just
highlight what
chill.
it is that I'm
I'll
going through because of
chill,
what my
chill,
ancestors went through.
chill. Y'all
That's what I'm
chill.
saying.
You
Please
just
calm
It
said you
don't
didn't
down.
go
even
like
care
that.
about your
Hold up,
ancestors,
y'all.
so why are
Hold
you
up.
It don't
referencing them
go like
now?
You
that.
Hold up, y'all. Hold up. Let me say something. Damn, let me say something. Okay?
Right.
Goodness. Damn. Okay, look. What Humble is saying is that she's not saying what you're saying is toxic, but she's saying the way that you're
But
saying
she
it can
he
be perceived.
literally
But
said
listen
that.
to me. Listen. She's saying the way you're saying it, it can be perceived as toxic.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank
That's
you.
what she's saying. Instead, she's not saying what you're saying is toxic. You have to listen to her. Like you're.
Bully, honestly, the only people who don't agree with me are people who are white tea. I've been watching them the whole time I've been here, and I
That's not
honestly
true.
don't care how they feel about the black experience because they're not black. Of course, they will be
Who gives
offended.
a fuck how they feel?
She is
Exactly,
lost.
Who
She is,
gives
and
a
it's
exactly.
okay because we all been there, and it's
I'm
okay.
not lost.
We
You
know
are
us.
lost. You are the one
Nobody
who's trying to
said
be
you were
God
palatable
damn
to
lost.
it, the
somebody
Nobody
else's.
culture.
said you were
I
I'm
lost.
don't
white.
care about
I'm
how
white.
they
I
feel.
apologize. I'm white.
This is
Like
I
facts.
the
said
This is real
lost.
culture.
life.
But if
It's
you
a guy down here named Moss, and if you read his comment, I shouldn't agree
You
with
don't
him.
have to be
And he's a
fucking
black
white,
man
black,
that's
or
in
whatever to
agreement with
know
what I
the
just said.
culture and to live the culture.
like
That's not true because I'm not dating nobody outside my culture ever again. So you could play that somewhere else.
look,
Okay,
I
just
just
that's
think
what
that
we
again,
need.
and I was prepared for this.
look.
I was prepared for this when it's not me, and that's okay. We can
Mm-hmm.
just move on.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Kim.
Whew.
Oh, hi, Kim. You said you're all the.
HRNC, I've seen him in here, but he hasn't. I don't think he said anything. So I want to hear your viewpoint on it. HN.
Yeah, interesting. Charles, what's good, y'all? Merry Christmas, belated and everything. Hey, when some people were talking about the idea of code switching and everything, when I tell my students and everything, I look at it from the aspect of Batman versus Superman. And you look at it to where that Batman he wore a mask and he became somebody different from Bruce Wayne and then to Batman, right? That's why he wore the mask. He had like sometimes issues of even identity when he did that. But when you look at it from the aspect of Superman, even though when he was Clark Kent and he had to dress up and do different things, but yet still he was Superman, even though when he was Clark Kent, right? So that mask didn't change his characteristics or his values or who he was. That's just because he needed to maneuver around society so that people didn't know his true identity and everything. So when you change the way that you may speak or you may change the cadence or anything else, the main goal of communication is to be understood. So if that means to change the tone, if that means to change all these different things, all right, as long as you're understood and get the goal done, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to switch up who you are unless you're a Batman. And we do know some people that are like Batman, but most people, if you aim to be like Superman, yeah, I may speak a different way when I'm speaking to a 5-year-old. I'm not going to speak the same way as I do a 5-year-old as I do to an 80-year-old. In the bedroom, I speak a different way, than I speak, out at work. That doesn't mean that you're a sellout. It's meaning to where that you have different environments and different ways of speaking to different people in order to be understood. When you get older, that's when you understand that and saying, all right, well, I know who I am and I need to, of course, speak in different ways. Now, looking at interracial couples, yeah, we do see there's things that some people may hate themselves and they say, oh, I'm never going to date one of my people and everything else. That doesn't just happen in our community. I've seen that happen and heard from a lot of my colleagues who are Asian, who are Middle Eastern, so on and so forth. So I really dislike when people say, oh, you don't see other people doing this. Well, maybe you're not around other people and you don't really hear, let's say, in their forums and what they're talking about as well. Anyway, so I digress for a little bit. Good conversation. Thank you all.
Well
Okay.
said. Well
Hmm.
said.
Okay. No one got nothing to say to that.
I mean that's basically what Humble was saying.
That was well said. I like that. That was a great analogy as well.
Yeah, indeed. Ah,
I mean, Unless people don't know who Batman and Superman is, which is kind of odd if you don't. But
Yeah, it's odd.
but
Yeah, I just
so the people who were against what Humble said, what do y'all think about that? What he just said.
Can somebody sum it up? Because I zoned out in the middle of it.
So, yeah, you want to summarize what you just said, like without Batman and Superman? I'll say.
Yeah, basically saying this, you can still be who you are, but yet change the way you speak, because the main idea of speaking or communicating is to be understood. So just because you may switch up your register or your tone, so on and so forth, doesn't mean that you're changing who you are or your values. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Well, honestly, I feel like the only exception to that, well, I'll say this: we are in America where majority of people speak English, and only the way I would even disagree with that is if somebody's coming from a different country and their makes them possible to understand. Other than that, if we're speaking English, we can be interpreted. Having to change your accent or make your voice go up a few octaves is again based on you trying to fit in with somebody who doesn't look like you. So that says like me, I'm from Tennessee. I have a country accent, but you can still understand me when you might be from a different place. But again, that's different from somebody who will be communicating to a white person. They're still from Tennessee. They still have an accent, but they take their voice and they make it up here so they can understand. They do that. That's different. Like they're trying to like code switch to fit in, and that's the problem for me.
Miss Unacceptable, do you speak the same way to your grandma as you're speaking to us?
My grandma speak the same way as me. Where you think I
Okay,
get it
so
from?
tell me this: when you're in the bedroom with your man, do you speak the same way as you speak to us right now?
My man is black.
No. The same tone, the same cadence. You speak the same way. When you hot and heavy, do you speak the same way as you speak to us right now?
Yeah, I do. What are you talking about? Like,
No,
I don't.
I'm talking to Miss
I know,
Unacceptable,
I
man.
know that
Are
you
you
are,
asking, do I
but
put
you're
on a
making it
bedroom voice?
extremely personal, and I think that's
But
weird.
but
So
that's actually a
No,
good
it's a
way
very
to.
no,
valid question.
no, it's not.
It's
Why
not
are you
English.
asking somebody
It's
what
called
they
a
do in bed
dialect.
with your man?
A
That's weird.
dialect.
Oh,
No,
y'all
Which
gotta
is
be
English.
dating.
he's
That's
not
what
trying
it
to get.
is.
He's
Y'all
not
dating.
trying to get into your
I know that
personal
he's
life,
not
all right?
trying to, but he did, and I'm telling you that it's weird. If it made me uncomfortable, it might have made her uncomfortable.
Man, what he's saying is like, what the whole thing, the point they was trying to get at is basically the whole Batman and Superman analogy. You depending on the situation, you change the way you speak. Like,
Okay, so and I still disagree because I purposely went back to my community so that I could live amongst my community and not have to do that every day. I don't have to change the way that I talk. I can say indigenous words and people will still understand me and who I am and all of that, and I don't have to code switch every day. I did that on purpose. I put my kids in a school where they can be like that, where their names won't be mispronounced so that they can grow up in their culture. They go to ceremony and all of that. And I do that because it's uncomfortable to live in a world where you're not accepted. And so, and if unacceptable is saying that she feels the same way, then it must be a little more common than what people are acting
Miss
like it is.
Miss
Exactly.
Rena,
And look,
Miss
It's
Rena,
not
are you
common
gonna
to
Miss
me though.
Rena,
That's
in
why
the
I'm saying
conversation?
not all knowledge is all black knowledge.
this
Miss
is
Rena,
coming from a person who went to a predominantly white high school, middle school, and college. Y'all would never know that though. Because why? I don't code switch, I don't change my octaves, and I keep my accent for a reason. You would have never known that. You probably still don't believe it. Because usually when you see people who go, black people or other people of color who went to a PWI, they turn into YT people. Like their whole everything about themselves just changes because they feel like they have to. Because in those spaces, you do not get accepted if you do not act like them. Period.
I'm sorry, I have a question, Miss Rena. In this conversation, would you use any indigenous language when you're speaking with us?
Would I? No.
Yeah. Okay, so no, because you want to make sure that we understand what you're saying. So that's code switching because you want to make sure that we can totally understand where you're coming from, and that's the main objective.
That's a different
when it comes
language.
to-
It's a language.
But
That's-
do I live
but
on
that's-
TikTok? I'm talking
No,
about where
but-
I live my
okay.
actual life.
It's
Like,
a
I don't live
dialect,
here. This is a
not
choice to get
language.
on here and talk to people. That's different.
Y'all
I'm
took
saying when I go
English,
to
right?
work, I work with my people. I live in my
Y'all
community.
studied it.
But that's the main goal of code switching. You're saying that whether it be slang, whether it be tone, whether it be dialect, etc., when you're changing that because you want to make sure that people understand you.
I think that y'all
that's
are
the
trying
main
to
goal of
intertwine a
Jennifer.
conversation that doesn't go together. If you are talking to a person who is not indigenous, if you are talking to a person who, oh my God, can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
If y'all are talking to a person who is not from America, meaning they come from a different part of the world where they speak a totally different language and coming over here, that's different. But if we're in America where English is the first language, if you're from America, you're switching it up. All of that
English is not the
different.
first.
Okay, no.
One of the first, one of the languages.
It's not the
It's
set
main
language for
It's the
America.
main language.
America does not have a set language.
Please don't hyperfixate on that.
Period.
It's the main language that we speak in America. It's English.
Period.
So are you going to go to your
You
job?
had
Are you
Ge-
going
you
to
had
go
Geechee.
to your job speaking ambiguous?
I can't hear you. What did you say?
Are you going to go
You
to
had
your job?
Caribbean.
Are you
You
going to
had
go to your job
Bahamian. I
speaking
mean,
a certain way?
what dialect are you talking?
What? Again, so stop trying to make two conversations.
No, it sounds
Yeah.
like I know more about your culture than what you do.
What are you talking about? You don't know
What are you talking
what are you
about?
talking about?
I'm talking about the dialect.
What dialect? What are you talking
Right.
about?
What dialect are you assuming that people speak? How weird.
Because I'm finna drop
you
some
say
knowledge
it's
on you.
weird,
How dare a
but
white
I have
man
a
think that he
country
knows more
slang.
about my
That
people than
sounds
I do?
stupid.
I don't think he was trying to say he know more
I'm-
about Philly. I think he was just
He
saying like
literally
he
said
was
that.
just speaking in a general sense. I think.
Okay, well, go ahead and elaborate.
Okay, well then you have a different dialect that you said that you don't speak on. The whiteys speak on. They speak on a different dialect. Yes, they do. I will say yes, they do. The whiteys, but it's not just the whiteys. It's in general. It's with the blue collar versus white collar type deal communities in which they speak up, speak down. They come up, speak down type deal. It's not erased or whatever.
Okay.
It's what they do.
Non-factor. It doesn't matter.
Come on, you have to be willing to listen in order to understand now.
I understand. It's BS.
No, well, then within the blue collar, there is different blue collars, right? So there is this blue collar all the way down to, well, I'm not even going to say white collar. But then you'll have the Geechee, or whatever. Then to go up from there. I'm not saying that it's
Is that
not
the
fair.
language that
It's
you
not
claim to
fair.
know more about than
It's
me?
not fair. But they are treated just like you are treating me unequally. Unequally and unethically on this platform right now. Now, say I'm wrong.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Bow out gracefully.
Oh man.
Yes. Well, I guess.
I accidentally swiped my screen, but is that the language that you know more about than me? Gullah Geechee?
It's called Geechee.
Gullah Geechee is the original name.
No, Gullah Geechee. Okay.
Yes.
Well, you got me there.
Yeah, I did.
Got me there.
Yeah, I did.
All right, well,
Anyways,
you're doing a great job.
Girl,
You
nobody.
from the Piedmont?
I'm
oh,
not triggered. It's
Oh,
just,
what the
again,
fuck
how
you
can
think
somebody
of
claim
this?
to know more about my people than me, baby? I
You from the
read.
Piedmont?
Huh?
You from the Piedmont?
I told y'all where I was from.
Yeah, I know where you from. Ain't from Charleston.
At all.
Why does it matter?
But it's okay because I know about them. You think
Alright.
you think you got more ties? Yeah, I find that funny because that's another thing I can speak on. But I'm gonna let everybody else get a chance to speak.
I think it's so weird when people like try to get all personal. Like, I know where you from. Like, is that not weird?
No, you can tell from from the
No,
talking, the
you was the
actual
only person that
talking
started to
and
ask like
dialect.
very personal questions. It's weird. Can you tell my dialect from how I talk? No.
Nope, no,
A quote
ma'am.
that stuck with me. My coach told me this quote, and it hit me hard. You become what you dwell on. I just want to throw that out there. Yeah, because the more you reside on the situation, on you know what I'm saying, how certain black people might act, you know what I'm saying, if instead of being the problem, be the resolution of it. Be the is that the right word I'm looking for, man? Like I can't even speak right because
I think that that quote is true, just not in this context, because I've heard that quote a lot.
oh,
When we're talking about working to create generational wealth for your own personal family, I think that that quote is true. Don't dwell on the system that made it hard for you to succeed in this world, because you still have a chance. But when we're talking about how black people are treated in this society, no, because it's ongoing. It's always happening.
She's Piedmont.
I got. I,
but
I don't
I,
understand why would even matter.
They don't know. They don't know nothing. All they know is not even. I don't want to generalize nothing. And I see this same personality with people who date interracially. Like, you don't really know a lot about your people, and most of your pushback is, oh, we should love each other. Oh, it doesn't matter. Don't dwell on the past. What did Martin Luther King think? The same talking points.
Right. Me personally,
That's a
I'm
baby
black,
outside
and
my
I'll
way.
admit that I don't know much about my people. I'll say that. But I'm interracial. I talk how I want to talk, act how I want to act, do what I want to do as a black person, and I never changed how I act or anything like that. And the things that you explained that you went through, those are your, and that some other black people went through, those are things that I've never like went through. The only thing that I have went through that had to do about race was just in the own black community of someone saying that me talking proper is me talking white. That's the only time that I've even like got anything like racially. But other than that, it's like I don't know. I haven't had these issues.
And that's okay. But again, you always have the right to learn, and it's never too late to learn. Yeah, you are in an interracial relationship. I have no problem with that. But you do need to educate yourself on your people, because it's a lot of people outside of our race that thinks they know more about us than ourselves. And sometimes it's true, because we don't read and we don't educate. Never
that's,
let somebody try to tell you about your people. You should know way
that's
more.
but
I'm
the
sorry, that wasn't for you. This is for the comment. They said you don't even talk
I wanted
proper.
to
Girl,
tell you
stop.
that. I
Wait,
just
can I
Mindset was
respond to
about
this
to
comment
go
real quick?
off.
Hey,
About to
Bo,
go
can I
off.
respond to this comment real quick?
Go
Someone said in
ahead.
the comments, you don't even talk proper. Girl, stop pondering for these people. Did I not say that when I was younger, black people literally told me talking proper was me like talking white. So subconsciously, I dang near changed how I even talk, down to the way I even acted too. So of course, I'm going to sound different from when I was a child till now.
so
Let's not act slow.
You did say that.
if you had to do that
Thank you.
to be cultural norm, do you think that's okay?
I don't think that's okay. I don't think someone like I feel like that should need to be taught in that really needs to be taught in a black culture is that you should not be allowing your kids to be like, oh, you talk white, da da da. Da." And it's just like I really got bullied for that. So I feel like I got bullied into talking how other people like I would say that talk like other black people talk. So people like, oh, well, you don't sound white. Well, it's because like I literally got bullied into talking how I talk, and now it's just the norm for me. Like I don't even remember how I used to talk. All I know is I used to talk proper, and this is how I speak. I
Honestly,
never
and I believe you. I believe you. That does happen. That does happen.
But that,
But again,
but you was against it. Old girl was against it, right?
who was against it?
I mean, y'all basically contradicting what y'all was saying.
I'm not contradicting anything.
y'all.
I still stand on what I said. You should not code
No,
switch
no, no.
when you're around other people because you want to fit in. I still stand on that, but I'm not going to dismantle her experience. I know that it happens. I know that happens. But again, that's a conversation we have within our people.
It's just sad.
And there's a conversation that within our people that get ignored. I feel like outside of Black people, the only thing that get talked about more is just like, oh, you sound whitewashed. That's the only thing that really gets shed light on.
And I
Other
do
than the
want to
fact of talking about how Black people themselves like get on other Black people, how they speak and talk. Like if it's not how the usual Black person would speak.
But I just say
And I
one
agree,
thing?
but again,
I
there's
just
two
say-
different types.
I was
There's
gonna
two
say,
different types. It's usually one of two. One, when they say that you talk white, usually it's probably like somebody who doesn't have a big vocabulary. And usually they tell you that you talk white because of that. And again, that's not good. And again, that's something that we need to work on within our community. The second reason is you may not even necessarily talk white, but you have the passive aggressive personality. And that's
But
what they mean, because
that's the thing. I've never, like, my whole entire life from when I was younger to now, never grew up with any white people. LA is predominantly Black and Hispanic. Someone is Hispanic in this comment. They know LA is Black and Hispanic. And just now in my neighborhood specifically, I'm just starting to see white people. So this is not something that, oh, maybe I was around white people and I started talking. No, this is something that this is how I used to talk. So how I used to talk is like, I never grew up around white people.
then that's
It
what
was
I'm
just
saying.
Black and Hispanic. So it's just like, it
I was
didn't make
gonna
sense
ask
for
you
that to
guys
even be
something.
said.
So
And that's what I'm saying. It's
honestly,
usually two
if
situations. One, where the person doesn't have a big vocabulary, so they think that like certain words that you use means that you talk white. And again, that needs to be fixed. Or it's the second one where you don't even necessarily talk white. You just have a passive aggressive tone to how you speak. And you think that because like your vocabulary is a little bigger, that makes you somewhat better than somebody else. And there's people who act like that.
It's mostly
Isn't
tone
it
and
just
it's
sad
mostly
how they try to
tone
like
and
separate
also
like just
dialect.
society? It's like the way it is like now it's like feels like we're separated or like we're against each other in a way when we're really not. We may have differences, but we don't.
Like don't put everybody in the same. Don't put that as a general category.
But I'm just saying society in a whole like.
Not you. I'm
I
talking.
feel like that's an excuse. I don't think it's because I had a passive aggressive tone. Like I was literally a child. Like I wasn't be like, oh well, I talk like this, so I'm smarter than you. That's never the attitude I had. Literally, I was just talking to talk, talking to have a conversation, talking to be around people. This, that, and the third. So I feel like that's an excuse for people to
I
question why
disagree.
I talk how I talk.
I disagree, Paige. I'm from Minneapolis, and it's pretty segregated over here, and it's pretty racist. So
Yeah, there are racist people and there's racist areas and everything, and that still exists. But like, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. It's sad that it still is a thing.
It's been a thing. It never went away. It was never solved. We just integrated with people. It didn't solve racism. It didn't do anything. It's always have been here. You know what? Let me speak on this. Ruby Bridges is, how old is she? What, 65, 63 now? And Ruby Bridges is the first Black little girl to go to a all white school. She's 63 now. So imagine those people who stood outside of her school, protesting for her not to go there, spitting on her, yelling insults at a child. Imagine how old they are now. Imagine the children that they had. Their children had to be younger than Ruby Bridges, which means they're alive now, and they were taught those same racist narratives about Black people. Racism was never over. It never. We just have this false sense of unity. And we still are treated different. And I don't like when people say that, because it shows how you don't know history, and it shows how you don't know what's really going on. And again, that's your privilege speaking for you.
Okay, so can I say something? Because
go that far
racism,
back. Like
stereotypes, and colorism is literally in our own culture. So
I'm not saying
I feel like it's
our
within our own community. So I feel like we have to fix our own community before we drop it onto
police
others.
station had to be reformed because of racism. Like, what are you talking about? That was not even a couple years ago. Everybody saw that on TV.
I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but I'm just saying it's sad that it's still like. you know, we should talk about it. We should have these conversations.
It's sad for Black people. It really is. And I understand, again, I know the colorism thing. I understand that inside of our own community, we have things we need to fix. But, excuse me, speaking on these issues around people who actively, it's not good. Honestly,
like we have racism, stereotypes, and colorism in our own community. It's like we can't grapple onto other communities on how they treat us if we can't even get our own community straight and right.
that's respectability politics. They're not going to respect you no matter what. Even if you feel like a light-skinned girl or a dark-skinned girl is pretty determined based on their shade, that doesn't change the fact that a white tea person doesn't like you simply because you're Black. That's it. And I hate when people do that. I understand that colorism is a thing. That, again, that's something we have to work on within our individual community. But do not push respectability politics onto us, because it doesn't matter what we do. It doesn't matter how we act. It doesn't matter if we dress up, put on a suit, go work on Wall Street. They're still going to see you as who you are, which is a Black person. They will never see you as an equal, or if not above them. That's not how it works.
Piedmont.
Yeah, I understand like other communities are how they treat us. I'm not taking away from the fact that there's real issues that a lot of us Black people go through outside of our own community. All I was saying is the fact that it's a lot of issues within our own, and it's really sad that we treat each other so wrong.
It is. And I'm a big advocate for self-love. And that's why I go so hard on my people, because I know that the way we think now
Mhm.
is not even our original mindset. We loved each other. We had Black families. We were getting married even when slavery was a thing. Why? Because we loved each other. We were all we had. But through
Right.
slavery and Jim Crow and everything after that, and the systematic oppression that's put onto our people, it changed the way we think to where we're self-destructive now.
Right. And then look, there was this TikToker that made a YouTube video, and he literally said that, oh, there's no cute girls that's my skin complexion. Like they're all beat up and stuff like that. Like that's what I'm talking about. And the sad thing is he was dark skinned, and his mom is literally the same skin complexion. So not only is you talking about other dark skinned women and dark skinned men, but you talking about your mom, like right then and there. Because she's the same skin complexion as you. That's what I'm talking about. It's just like within our own community, it's like we have, like, not me, but other Black people have so much self-hate, and it's sad.
I agree.
And I see. I'm gonna bring you
Thank you.
down real quick. All right.
That's
What's up?
exactly why I go so hard. And it takes
Just for
us,
quick
like
facts.
it's Black people on this panel, and it starts with us. I think that we are looking for a big movement for everybody to start just changing the way they thinking and think a certain way, but that's not how it works. It starts with the individual person. It starts with Black women, again, loving ourselves and pushing that onto other Black women, and it starts with Black men loving themselves and seeing the value in their counterparts. It doesn't start when, oh, we decide to do a protest and everybody just automatically change the way they think. That's not how it works. And again, it's upsetting to me because I know that this is not even the mindset that we originally had. This was
Paige, can I come back to you?
Well, that's not true, particularly because, but
Just
I
a
do
question,
believe there
Paige.
is a reason behind that. When way back when, since like slavery
have
and
you
stuff
ever
like
heard
that,
of the Willie
like the
Lynch theory?
light skinned people, the light skinned Black people were allowed in the house, and the dark skin tone were allowed outside the house only. So I
Yes.
feel like it stems from that. But like,
No. Have you ever heard of the Willie Lynch theory?
wait, what did you say?
Just look up the Willie Lynch theory.
I wanted to speak on something real quick.
Let it go. Let this shit go and let us grow. How about that? Let this shit go and let
What
us
are
grow.
you talking about?
Wait, people saying, was you in slavery? Do y'all do y'all not know what bringing information to a topic means? Like, do y'all not know how to have a debate or discussion?
I
You
can have
bring
a
facts
debate.
to the table. You bring history to the table. Do
Yeah,
y'all
I'm
not know how to have a discussion
The
about it?
problem with debates is
We
people
were in
tend to get
slavery. We are
upset with each other
suffering
with
the
debates.
effects of slavery. We are going through the effects of slavery. It doesn't matter.
Hold on. So as for debates, yeah, people tend to get upset with debates. But right now we have two new people in, so let's hear what they got to say about some of the stuff.
Okay. Hi. My name is not Crazy. That's just the name I came up with for TikTok. I'm Kay. I saw this, and I will say, as someone who has been in multiple interracial relationships. I don't see a problem with interracial relationships. I think at the end of the day, it's about who you love and how you see yourself with the person. I don't think it's like I don't even think it should be a thing. Well, like for me, like my biggest like when I look at a person, I look at a person based on who they are as a person. Like I look at a person for personality. Like I don't look at someone like, oh, they're this, I don't want to be with them, or oh, they're this. Like it's the same thing. It's not the same thing, but like an example like would be like I had a friend who like she was talking to this guy and they seemed really great, but she didn't want to be with him because he was a Scorpio, and I thought it was dumb. But again, it's their decision. I'm not going to judge that. But I just think that like you should be able to love who you want to love. And if you see yourself with that person, you can build a genuine connection with that person, no matter what they look like. I think that can be a successful relationship. I don't see why like an interracial relationship would be a problem.
Agreed. I very much agree.
So now, yeah. So real quick, that one goes back to what unacceptable was saying, but we'll get to that after. I want to hear what Shanti has to say about it now.
I just want to speak on something real quick before I get into the topic. TT was talking about colorism in the community and just Black people in general saying things to. Anyways, I just wanted to speak on that because that's usually that is literally a creation of Black people wanting proximity to whiteness. So it all ties back into racism and all those things. So I do agree that that is something we need to deconstruct in our community. But at the same time, the problem didn't start within us. I think the problem started with outside of everything that was happening around us and Black people wanting to be seen as closest to white. That's why people are always like, oh, team light skin this, team light skin that, or whatever, because that's the closest Black people will ever get to being actually white. And sometimes people have self-hatred. And that's one thing I feel like, especially in our community, we need to work on, because Black is beautiful. And I feel like a lot of people aren't able to experience that because, like I was saying, I knew from your experience when you were saying that you weren't the things that you experienced were people saying that you talk too white. I knew it was because you grew up in a predominantly Black area, but that doesn't make it okay. But I'm just saying that, like, so you weren't able to relate to any of Unacceptable's ideas because she wasn't raised in a predominantly Black area, and I wasn't either, so I could relate to a lot of things that she was saying. But anyways, I feel like
I just went to school in white areas.
okay. Anyways, so back to the interracial couples. I don't feel like there's any problem with interracial couples. My only issue is when people get into relationships with people outside of their race or their culture, some people tend not to want to learn the other person's culture. And that's really my only issue because we see it a lot in interracial dating. But other than that, I feel like if you love that person, you took the time to get to know them and who they are as a person, how they were raised, etc., then I don't see an issue with those people being together.
I can definitely like piggyback on that. Again, like I've said, I've been in interracial relationships. I've even been in interreligion relationships. I was in a relationship this year where the person I dated was Islamic. And it's a really tricky situation in that, especially being that in that culture, like you shouldn't even be like dating shouldn't even be a thing in the first place. So it is a very hard thing. But like for me, like especially like I do always try and like take the time to like get to know the culture. Like I legit was I legit was trying to learn Arabic so I could talk to his mom because his mom was so sweet. But again, unfortunately, we didn't work out because the religion had gotten in the way. But I do think like I agree that like I have seen relationships, like not me personally, but I have seen from a third party perspective where like people aren't willing to get to know other people's cultures, no matter what it may be. And I think that is a topic that needs to be addressed and something that like this is someone you want to get to know and create connections with, and that comes with getting to know their culture.
Anyone got any input on that, or?
Yes, I do. I do. I'm a man, 40 years old. I got a daughter that's 11. Facing here in 4 years, she's going to be 16. Of course, going to have a boyfriend before then. I'm going to tell you one thing, and it's the same thing that my wife has actually told her father, that her father says, well, you're only going to date a white man. You're only going to date a white man. Well, my wife turned around and told her father that she's only, and my wife said, I'm only going to date a man that loves me, cherishes me, holds me, loves me unconditionally. To this day, I have, and that's the same respect I have to my daughter, because I was not the best during that time of my life. No, not during that time of my life. Not at, 18 or, 17, 18, 19 years old in my life. No, I wasn't the best man. But, I cherish every day that my wife's father gave me her hand. And to this day, I would take her to the grave and cherish her, love her, and can't live without her. That's it.
Hey, appreciate the snow globe, Trav. Yeah, that's nice, dog. Honestly. Real quick, so now we have Isabella in here. Do you have anything to say on the topic, Isabella?
Interracial parents, so obviously I support it. I think it's like a no-brainer, though.
Well, so now this is going to be the eighth time that you'd be surprised how many people don't support it. You know what I mean?
Well, I know people don't support it, but like I don't understand how you can't. It's like you're just human. Like obviously you have to put some effort into getting to understand the opposite culture, but besides that, it's the same as like a non-interracial couple.
Okay. Yeah, I can dig it. Like I said, everyone has their opinions, and we've had everyone in here express their opinions, and of course it may get a little heated, but at the end of the day, if you're even brave enough to come up here and express how you feel about a situation, shoot, I'll give you mad props.
Mm.
And everyone else who was up here before recently, give me a follow, and I'll be sure to follow you back just for coming up here. All right, so cool, Isabella. Yeah, that makes sense. RMV, do you have anything to say?
Yes. Hi, Stays and host. You're doing a great job facilitating and looking out for your guest. I am
Appreciate that.
social interaction dating is bound to happen, and this global technological environment that we are in today. People are all the are being, it's easy accessible to everybody. And so we have to kind of be more tolerant and acceptable because it's going to happen. We are living and sharing the same spaces now, neighborhoods. We're just interacting, and at the end of the day, we're humans, and we all come from the same place. We all originated from the same place, and we are the same. Um, Despite some of the social constructs that have been defined for our ever evolving existence. But I will say, having said all that, I think that the onus is on us to ensure that no one's based on a physical attributes, color, your skin, your gender, your features, that you are not given equity and equality, right? We look at, I'll just quickly give an example. We see very wealthy and successful couples in all spaces. You see the Bill Gates and Melinda Gates. You see the Kim Kardashian and the and Kanye West. Kobe Bryant and his wife Vanessa. Right. So there's, if you look at the dynamics, and what the my concern is about interracial dating is that a issue of equality, equity, and wealth. So too often than not, when uh, when these marriages happen, the wealth goes out of the Black community. Economically, it just goes out of the Black community, and it never comes back in. And that's what my concern is, and that's why I choose to only date and marry within myself. I believe my resources as a Black woman in this culture, in this society, belongs into the Black community in developing and investing. I'm totally invested, and I'll reinvest in the Black community. And the only way I could do that, based on the political, socio-economic issues and crisis that we are in today, is that I have an obligation to do that. And that's what I'm about. Yeah, and for that reason, until society does better, and with equity and equality, my obligation is to support my own people who look like me, and I will only marry Black men.
So I got a little confused. So you're neutral in the situation, but you still will stick to your own preference.
I'm sorry.
You're neutral on everything, but you would only stick to your own, like, your own race, which is your preference.
No, it's not only my preference. I said it clearly. It's my obligation, and I'm committed to. My father was a Black man. My three brothers are Black men. They can't even go outside, ride down the turnpike or do anything without being profiled. I'm putting my resources to them, ensure that the Black community, I am 100% pro-Black, and pro-Black means I support and advocate for the progress of Black people, the survival of Black people.
Be pro-Black.
So go back to this comment. Someone said that's why this topic is ridiculous. I mean, yeah, but that's also, let me read up real quick. So who said something?
I'm all for just being who you want to be with. If you want to be with someone that's not
Hey,
your
Rev.
race, then be with them. If you want to marry someone that's not your race, then marry them. Not going to benefit me caring who you off going being with, or who you off marrying or laying in bed with. It's just not going to benefit my life no type of way.
Yeah. So
Your race don't call me special.
I
You
need
do.
more. How do I say this without offending? I need more white and Black in here. You know what I'm saying?
I hope one last thing, if you don't mind.
I feel like you should.
Host, could I speak one last thing, one time?
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay. No, I just want to say also further, and if we're all honest with one another, if we have been watching the current global events around the world, anytime Black people support Black people, society has a big issue with it. I mean, you see Asian only marry Asians. Middle Easterns only marry date and marry their own. One of our panelists, he mentioned that too. I know I grew up in white communities. I went to predominantly white schools, and white parents don't even want their children going to the prom with Black children, right? So I understand that, and that's the way I feel as well. I have no problem with people supporting people that look like them, so long as they're not doing anything to hinder my progress. So long as they're not uh, infringing on my constitutional rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. All right. If that's what you want to do not come after, my family, who I am, try to prevent me from progressing with these with these systemic racist policies and laws. That's all I want to say. So when black
Other
people do
races
certain
who
things,
don't
we're
date their
criticized.
same
When white
race.
people do it, it's okay, and that's unacceptable.
I could just respond to that if that's okay. I did she was talking about like
Julie, can I bring you back up?
Yeah.
No, not you, Guli.
I'm about to go to bed.
sorry. I know she had mentioned she was talking about like society and everything. At the end of the day, at the end of the day, society it's not going to be perfect. Somebody is going to have a problem with something no matter what we do. Like it could be anything, whether it's political or not, or whether it's just doing basic things or not. People are going to have a problem with something at the end of the day. It's all about how you
have a good night.
it's all about like how you go about it.
Thanks for coming in.
And how you live with it.
Could I also respond to what that girl was saying? The RMV. There are definitely a lot of other races who don't marry their same race. There's so many Asians who marry and date white people, black people. So what you were saying is just not true at all. And on top of that, you can definitely be pro-black and advocating for black people and not be dating a black person.
It's not as pushed as it is with our community. Y'all it's not even a second thought as to who y'all decide to marry in y'all community. Y'all think about y'all community first. But if y'all so happen to meet a person of another race and decide to marry them, that's just a different factor. But it's not as pushed as it is for black people, and that's the problem for us.
Mm-hmm.
So
And the
I
other thing
I
I was
agree
gonna
with
say,
you. In my community, it's not really looked down upon because we have the opposite of the one drop rule, where if you do not have enough blood lineage, then you cannot like tie yourself to the tribe anymore. And so then there's a lot of people who look down on dating outside of our race and our culture. And to be honest, when you do try to date outside of our culture, I wouldn't particularly say race because there is like some people who like look like us but are not in the culture anymore and have like adapted to American like ideologies and all of that, and that's also hard. But dating outside of our culture is extremely hard. The ideas that people have about our culture and like stereotypes, all kinds of stuff, like, to be honest, it's not even worth it. I wouldn't do it again. I had to completely teach my partner all about my culture, and like gender roles are completely different. It's actually really hard, and so I don't really think that there's anything like wrong with being against interracial couples because it's not an easy thing to do.
And I want
the other thing I was gonna
to
say
when she
was
said
that
that
being
majority of us are not 100% anything. Okay, I don't know about everybody else, but for black people specifically, our women, black women, were being SA'd during the time of slavery, and a lot of us did not reproduce willingly with other races. So that's why we are not 100% anything. That's why a lot of our blood is mixed with a lot of different people, because we were being sold and SA'd around the world. So just be thoughtful and think about things before you comment them, because that shows that you have no knowledge about black history.
And the other thing I was going to say is that being pro-black is literally black everything. It could even be down to the companies you support. So no, you cannot be pro-black and date outside of your race. You can support black people and love your people, but that's not pro-black.
I agree. Exactly. Call me. Exactly. And I just want to say another thing about pro-blackness. So, and I'm going to use a celebrity. I hate to do that, but just so that everybody knows what we're talking about. What is her name? Angelina Jolie. She is a woman who opted to adopt kids across racial lines. She has a black daughter, and she recently put her daughter into a HBCU, an all black school, which is an elite college, which is Spelman College. It's a top all black women's college. Now, this is a white tea woman who knows and understand what the issue that I'm attempting to communicate here. That it is imperative that if you are a man or a person of another race that is not black, and you choose to marry or do interracial dating and having interracial kids, then it is your obligation to understand those individuals, your husband, your sons, your daughters, are going to be treated in this race, in this hyper racial society. And I will give, and for that reason, I give kudos to Angelina Jolie, because she understands what racism is. So do not come in these spaces and say, "Oh, I date interracially," and you don't understand that racism exists. Like the young lady Isabella, who's going to say that other races date, outside, date black and outside their race, but not in large numbers, Isabella. Okay, disproportionately, black people date outside their race more so than any other race in the world. So don't even try to equate that here and not understand what we're talking about here, and not understanding what racism is and the impact it has had on black people.
Asian people always marry Asian people. You said that, and that's not true.
She didn't.
That's
say
not
that.
true at all.
That's large numbers. You give me those statistics of how often Asian people marry outside their race and marry black.
Is often, but that does not mean it doesn't happen.
Well,
at all.
the numbers are so small that it's minute. Most people marry within their race, period. And particularly in homogeneous societies. United States is one of the most diverse countries in the world. You go to Japan, you go to Russia, you go to West Eastern European countries, and even parts of Africa, and many African countries. They lack the diversity that the United States have. So there's not many opportunities where there are even culturally in Southeast Asia and etc., where there's not even cultural or societal opportunities for you to interact. And don't even go to the Middle East. They're not going to have their women marry outside their race. You're naive. You're being naive, and you're being disingenuous, Miss Isabella.
I do want to speak on the colorism in other cultures as well, because not only in the black community do we face colorism and get shamed for the darker that our skin is, but that is also a thing in other cultures as well, and I've seen it. I don't have to specify each culture, but again, if you are not lighter skin in these different cultures, you are frowned, or some people resort to bleaching and things of that nature. So again, in every culture there is anti-blackness. So the more we acknowledge that, the more we can get ahead in this topic. Like, don't, instead of trying to like make it seem like this anti-blackness is not a thing, and people who decide to acknowledge the racism that goes on in these countries are the ones that are keeping it going. That's the biggest lie. That's the biggest lie, because it's been there.
I definitely agree with you. So, like in my community, there definitely is colorism where if you are a darker skinned Mexican person or Mexican indigenous person, you're called an Indian, or it's looked down upon. The closer to white tea that you look, the more beautiful that you're considered. And there's also colorism majority amongst like the men and their preferences for like Hispanic women that look white tea.
Very true. I was just about to say that, because it's also in the Cuban and Puerto Rican cultures as well. Like, it's not just a black people thing, it's an all people thing. But I was also going to speak on the fact that, like you were saying, that a lot of people are dating outside their race. RMV is actually correct when she says that it's most like higher rates black people are dating outside of their race more. Like, even when I was with a Hispanic man, he was literally telling me that he didn't know about how he was going to introduce me to his family because he didn't know how they were going to take the fact that he wasn't dating another Mexican girl. I mean, like, even though I am part Hispanic, it still didn't tie into the fact that, like, at the end of the day, I'm black and I'm going to be perceived as black. So yeah, it's not just it's deeper than just loving who you love. Yes, I agree that, like, if you want to date outside your race and you want to date somebody who isn't of your culture, that's perfectly fine. But we also have to look at the facts. That's what I meant when I said that you need to look deeper into things and your culture and all that stuff, or their culture, before you decide to get with them.
And this is why I feel how I feel about interracial couples, because there are a lot of factors that play into it that a lot of people are just not educated on. So they go into these interracial relationships, and again, they're black people specifically. I speak on black people. 9 times out of 10, you will be the victim of microaggression and racism. But again, because you feel like you shouldn't educate yourself on your black history and how things work in this society, you don't think it's a big deal. So it's like you are unknowingly, going through this, and that's what irritates me, because it's like when somebody doesn't know that they're being this is discriminated against, that's what's that irritates me, because I know you don't see it. And so that means that the people that you are marrying into, or the people that you are around, get to treat you however. It's like a little kink for them. It's like a little thing that helps them get off, because it's like they secretly don't like you, but you don't pick it up, so they get to do it comfortably. And that's what irritates me.
Someone said they like to hear your black history.
What?
Mm-hmm.
I think they're either referring to unacceptable or someone. Oh, shoot. My fault, Lexi. Hey, so Lexi just came in. Do you have anything to say, Lexi? My fault.
No, you're fine. I wanted to be respectful and just kind of get an idea of the panel. Good morning, y'all. I'm Lexi. So I'm biracial, black and white, and all I wanted to add to this conversation is just that the natural progression of any relationship is usually having a child. So I'm thankful that we're like kind of moving the conversation to that. I don't have any issues with people dating from other communities and having interracial children. I'm proud of who I am. My issue is that monoracial people tend to try to box us in to a specific demographic that just misses our full identity. And I think that for couples that choose to be interracial, they just have to be very smart about where they're going to raise their children, what community they're planning on, integrating their children into, because I don't think that it's smart for biracial people to be raised in monoracial communities, period. It doesn't matter what the community is. There's this myth that if you look black, you're black. It's a myth. Black people can very much practice colorism. They can practice hatred towards biracial people. If I call them racist, they're going to say that they can't be racist, but mixed people get hate from all groups of people. And I just wanted to point that out, that it's really important for couples that are interracial to consider forming communities and create friendships with people that are also interracial, so that your kids can have a sense of identity growing up. That's just what I wanted to say. I don't think there's anything wrong with being in an interracial relationship. My goal is to have a healthy relationship, regardless of what that looks like. I don't know yet, but I just want a healthy relationship. And I think that should be the ultimate goal. And please end biracial fetish. We do not all look the same. I'm not light skinned. I'm not dark skinned. I'm just myself. We don't all have the same features. I'm very pro interracial because obviously that's my origin story, but just be smart about who you're choosing to partner with. If you're black and you are in an interracial relationship with someone who isn't, that is white or whatever, keep in mind that your kids aren't just going to be facing prejudice from their non-black community. Black people have to unpack a lot of their hatred towards non-black people as well. And if you're going to encourage, like, let's say it's a white woman, like my mom is white, if you're going to tell white women that they need to unpack their racism and to learn about black history, as a black woman, you need to also be doing the same thing and learn about someone else's history and making sure that your children have a balanced upbringing.
Okay, so I want to say that black people cannot be racist. In order for you to be racist, you have to have some type of power in this society for you to oppress somebody. Black people do not have that type of power where they can oppress anybody, including black women. So there goes your statement about black women being racist. We can be prejudiced. We cannot like somebody due to
I said that.
characteristics or anything, but we cannot be racist. Number two, for you as a biracial woman saying that you are not accepted into the black community is the biggest lie that was ever
That's not
told,
what I
because
said,
black
and this is
people
why you have to
because black
listen
people
before you
accept
just speak.
biracial people,
I didn't
because
say
black
that.
people accept biracial people more than they accept themselves. The whole fetishizing thing you were speaking of, the curly hair, the light eyes, the light
I never
skin
said
is
that.
what is pushed onto our community. The biracial lighter skinned women are the ones that are seen as beauty for the black community. The darker skinned, brown skinned woman with the natural hair is specifically for C are the ones who are not seen as beautiful. So there
Ma'am,
goes your theory
you
about the
completely
biracial
spun what I
women
was trying to say.
being no.
The
So
entire
I
point.
agree.
Hold on,
I
real
agree with
quick. If you
Lexi.
wanted
Like
to respond to
I'm
Lexi, so let Lexi just bring it back home, okay?
No,
All
no, no,
I
no,
am
no. I want to
saying is
finish.
that
I want to
black
finish my
people,
statement
white
because you said
people,
what you
hold
said.
on. I'm
Let
not
me
even arguing with you. I'm just trying to prove my point, what I came on here to say. You can disagree with it. What I'm saying is that people who are in interracial relationships just need to be intentional about how they're raising their kids. Black people absolutely can be prejudiced. I said that.
You
I
said
said that.
racist.
It's the
You said black
truth.
women need to unpack their racism. We cannot be racist, nor can black people be racist. Because in order for you to be racist, you have to
So
hold
let's
power
remove
in this
racism from the
society.
conversation and let's talk about prejudice. Can we agree
No, no,
that
no.
black
Let
people
me
can
finish
be
my
prejudiced
statements,
towards
ma'am.
mixed race people?
I will finish my statements and then we can have a conversation. But there goes two of your points. The third point of saying that black people need to learn other people's history
Yes.
when white
Yes.
history is directly linked to the oppression and genocide of our people is crazy. How dare you say that we need to learn about their history when all
I
they
didn't
teach
say
is
just
white
white
history? When
people.
all they teach is white history in school.
Thank you for proving your ignorance because I wasn't even referring to black or white history exclusively. Interracial is not just black and white.
You
I'm black and
specifically
white.
said black women. You
I'm
said black
black and
women. So don't
white.
get up here and lie. Don't get
I'm
up
not
here and lie.
lying.
You specifically said
I
black
agree
women.
with Lexi. Like I'm in an interracial relationship with an African American man, and the amount of prejudice against my culture from his family was insane. That is like
Exactly.
that is why I will not date outside of my culture ever again because of the amount of teaching. Like we're gonna go see his family this weekend, and we had to have a talk about are we just gonna be quiet when your family starts acting
Right.
ridiculous, or are we gonna argue
Exactly.
with them this time?
Well,
It
Okay,
takes
but
both.
well,
again,
It takes
Raina,
two people to
that's
make a
prejudice.
relationship work. Why are you
wait a minute
so like
now.
triggered by
Respect.
what
But
I
to,
said?
but to
All I'm
specifically,
saying is that
but to
everyone
specifically
who is in
say,
the
but to
couple who is
specifically
in
say
the
that black
relationship
people
need to
need
work
to
on
learn
their own
about the
self hate.
history of
You
somebody
don't
whose
want to
history is
fetishize
directly
people.
linked to the genocide of their people is
Okay,
crazy. When all we
unacceptable. Then
learn is
don't date
white
white
history in
people.
school.
Then
You
don't
said
date
a bunch
white
of
people.
BS.
If you're in a relationship with an Asian person, do you not need to know Asian
You said a
history?
bunch
You're
of
going to have a half
BS.
Asian child.
You said white and black though. You said
Because
specifically.
I'm
You
white
said
and black. I'm
specifically
speaking
black
on my
women.
experience.
You said
But not all
specifically black
biracial people are
women.
black
You
and
need to
white.
unpack the racism that you have and learn about white people's culture. Again, like I said, for a black person to learn a white person's culture who is directly linked to the genocide and oppression of their people is crazy for you to say, especially since all they teach in school is white history.
Then don't sleep with white
Can I
people. You're not
comment
required
something
to
on
be in
that?
a
I
relationship with
don't
a white
push that. I
person.
don't push
Can
that,
I
honey.
comment something on that? What she means is like not just culture. I think it's just about like more of like family history too. Like when you're in a relationship with somebody, it's about like knowing their like family history. Like this again, like I was mentioning before this year, I was in a not just an interracial relationship, an interreligion relationship. And not only when I was with him learning about like his religion and his culture, but I was learning about him as a person and his family. I think that's what I don't know if maybe I'm wrong.
No, she said what she meant.
That
She said
no,
exactly what she meant.
that's
well,
Now
this is
she's
like
trying to
crazy.
this
That's
is just
backpedal.
exactly
we're
what I
having
said.
a
That's
discussion. We're
exactly what
having
I
a
said.
public
Now you're
discussion.
trying to
Nobody.
backpedal. You said exactly
I'm
what
not
you meant.
backpedaling. You're just choosing to be
I
sensitive
mean, I understood what Lexi
okay.
was
Because I'm
saying.
the least sensitive person on this
because it's
panel,
not
baby.
Wait
hard
a
to
minute.
comprehend right
Hold
now.
up. I understand what acceptable is saying. Y'all may not like her tone, but she is spitting facts here. Okay, so I just want to ask Lexi a question.
Yeah.
Lexi, you're biracial,
Mhm.
and I just if you want to share, you don't have to share. But how do you identify yourself? Do you identify yourself as white or black?
I identify as biracial.
Seen that coming.
Okay, but on many government applications, biracial is not a race, right? So if do you have kids by your black partner?
I'm not in a relationship, which tells me that you weren't actually listening. And in the state that
Okay,
I
no, no,
live
no,
in, you
no, no, no,
actually
no, no,
can,
no, no,
hold
no,
on,
no, no,
because
no.
I'm going to correct you. In the state where I live in, you actually can identify as two or more races. On my birth certificate, it says African American. That has less to do with what I am, but the time that I was born.
Okay,
After y'all,
so
I'm gonna let Annie go after y'all.
and I just have one other question: is your father black or is it your mother that's black?
So once again, you weren't listening. I said my mother is white and my
Right.
dad is
Or
black.
maybe I was not on the live when you
No, you
stated
weren't
that.
listening. Y'all were too
No, no,
busy
no,
trying to
no, no,
argue
no, no,
against
no,
what
no.
I said
Who is y'all?
Okay,
instead of
I'm
I heard
going.
what
listening.
you said.
Thank
I
you. You
heard
answered
exactly
my
what you
question.
said.
You answered my question. Thank you, Lexi.
Yeah, of
See,
course.
again, this is why I would not date outside of my culture. Again, like we have a whole matriarchal system where it would only go based off of your mother, off of your mother's lineage. The father wouldn't even matter. And so, and somebody asking me that would sound like to me would sound crazy. But again, I put myself in other people's spaces. So
Okay, but Raina and Lexi, you should be careful when you're addressing and speaking to black women and calling them crazy. Okay. Now, I did not call anybody out of their name or any
I didn't say that you were crazy. I said
okay.
it sounds crazy to
Okay.
me to be asked about
Well,
the father's lineage because it's a
you're not
matriarchal
because you're
system.
not black. You're not black. That's why.
Someone asked
Right. That's what I
the whole
said.
Okay.
Mr.
Very
B,
good.
Mr. B, I want to address the host real quick. Did you understand the point that I was attempting to make as far as raising biracial children to be proud of being mixed race, socializing them with other mixed race children for a sense of identity? That's what monoracial people already do. So why is it wrong to advocate for biracial people to have a safe space to be ourselves?
Nobody said it
It's
was
not
wrong.
wrong to do that.
I specifically agree with that, and I like that you identify as biracial
Not
because
the
I'm
whole
not one
people.
of those people who thinks that you should identify as one race. What I do have a problem with is you saying that black people can be racist. That is not true. That you saying that biracial people are not accepted in the black community. That's not true. And with you saying that black people should learn about white history, when again, somebody's history that is directly linked to the genocide and oppression of their people, telling them to learn their history is crazy, especially
No,
when they
you're
teach it in
talking
school.
about it on a macro
That's
level. I
what I don't
agree.
agree with. Yeah, that's
Ma'am,
what I don't
I'm not
agree with.
arguing
I
with
never
you. I'm
said I
just
didn't
trying to
agree
have
with.
a conversation. I wasn't trying to say on a macro level, you need to know white history or Asian history. If you are in an interracial relationship, regardless of who you are or who you're with, take time to learn their family history. Maybe I wasn't clear. Maybe
You
I had
wasn't.
maybe my hopes were too high for you. I thought you were intellectual. It's clear that you're not.
Girl, I'm
I
far
was
from dumb.
trying to
I'm
help
far from
you
dumb.
uh,
I'm
understand what
far
I was
from
trying to
dumb. You
say.
just
You
said
have
what
to
you
take time
said,
to learn
though.
your
You just said what
partner.
you said, and now you're trying to backpedal and add in other races when you specifically said black women.
That's her
I
story,
listened
though.
to what
She's
you
black and
said.
white. What
I
else did
listened
she
to what you
say?
said. When you
What do
specifically
you
said
expect
black
me to
women,
talk
that's when I
on?
had the problem. So don't
That's
try
What
to
do
who
you
make
she
it
expect me
seem
to
is.
talk
like I'm
on?
dumb. I've never been dumb.
If I'm
Next,
black
can I
and
ask a
white,
quick
what other
question?
experience am I
Wait,
supposed to talk
Lexi, I
on?
understand
Okay,
exactly what you were
okay,
saying.
okay. I'm gonna
So,
interrupt Manny. I know Manny has been waiting to speak, so I'm just gonna. I know you were the host was
I
saying it
just,
before, so
I
I'm
just
just
wanted to ask a real quick question. I want to thank you, Easy55, for letting me up. Appreciate you, bro. I do have an experience I
Real
want to
quick,
share.
Manny.
Yeah, go ahead.
Real quick. So I seen a comment earlier that says, "Why ain't I interjecting?" I'm not interjecting because I'm letting people, human beings, handle how to handle aggression towards each other. Because at the end of the day, it's going to be cleared up, and everyone's going to be back to normal and all cool. So it doesn't matter. So go ahead, Manny.
Yeah, I just wanted to. I had a question. I'm going to share my experience real quick, but I wanted to ask an unacceptable question. Would you consider, like, if there's a, let's see, there's Black TikTok where people do live streams and it's just like Black community focusing on Black topics. Would you consider Lexi to be part of that community, or not really unacceptable?
Ask the question again. I zoned
If
out.
if you guys had a topic regarding the Black community, like Black TikTok, and you saw someone like Lexi come in, who doesn't identify as black but biracial, or what was it that you identify as on the bottom, Lexi?
I'm biracial, black and white.
Biracial.
That's how
So
I
would
identify.
she be accepted in a space where there are black topics, black issues happening, like a black live stream? Would you consider her part of that community or not really, like on the real?
No,
As
not
long
based on what
she
she.
didn't ask me.
No,
He didn't
based on
ask
her
me.
rhetoric,
He did not
absolutely not.
ask
She
me.
does
He
not.
did not
She
ask
does
me,
not
bro.
align with black
He
women issues at
did
all.
not ask me.
They would
What
accept
I
Barack
what
Obama
I'm
though.
going to
He's not
say,
black, but they would surely claim him as their first
and
black
then here we
president.
go.
And he
Because
has a white
So,
mother
so my
too.
question was for unacceptable because I'm trying to prove a
Barack
point here, real quick.
Obama
Go ahead.
married black. He
So,
identifies
so,
as black. He does
so I
not
see
say he's
unacceptable.
biracial.
She's listen, unacceptable. She's passionate about, and I get it. She's talking about like white education and this and that, and she's right. But I just really want to, because I've seen this. I've seen it before where white tea presenting women or mixed women come in. They're part white, part black, but they look more white tea. They come in and try to be part of a community that doesn't really acknowledge them. They're like, you don't even look black, like you're
okay,
white passing.
Manny,
So that's what I
Manny,
wanted to ask.
I'm
Unacceptable.
going to
That's all.
answer your question.
Yeah, go ahead.
What I would do. This is if it was my live. As long as Lexi is mixed with black, specifically, you're mixed with whatever in black. Yes, also she has to acknowledge the privilege that she has being biracial, especially in the black community. As long as she acknowledged that privilege of being biracial and light skinned, and she's welcome. As long as she's mixed with black as well. Yeah.
We also
I'm not light skinned though. I'm brown. Like I don't present as light or dark. I'm
we
brown.
No,
also
I get you. Like, so I was just
I'm
a
looking
question
at
because
your
I've
profile
seen it
picture.
on
you
different
guys
live
can
streams.
hear me.
So real quick, I don't
Because
want to take.
can I elaborate a little bit
Yeah,
more? Okay, I was just going based off of your profile picture. So if you're brown, I'm sorry, I could not tell. But again, as long as she is mixed with black and acknowledges her privilege that she has in the black community from being biracial and also light skin or brown skin or whatever she said, yes, she will be welcome. But also,
Explain to me what my privilege is. I would love to know how I'm privileged.
because in this society, especially in the black community, whatever is closest to white is deemed as more beautiful, more smart, and etc. So because you are biracial and you're mixed with white, you already have a sort of privilege that monoracial people don't have, which
What
is
privilege though, like
Unacceptable.
exactly do you think that
Unacceptable.
I have?
you will be accepted into
Unacceptable.
society in a different way.
Do not allow people like Lexi get you off your square.
I'm not off my
No,
square.
but I just had a
She knows
question
what
because there's an
Lexi.
assumption that
You know
all
what you're
biracial people
doing,
have
and
a
you
privilege. And so
don't
I'm
come
just
up
curious
here
from a
addressing
monoracial
black women.
perspective, what
Okay,
privilege do I
Lexi.
have? That's all I
We
want to
see
know.
you. We see you, Lexi.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
So
Okay,
I'll
because
just
my
share my
thing is
piece and
right
let
now.
you. Yeah, go.
Uh,
I just wanted to share my experience real quick and why I'm not cool with interracial relationships. I'm a original person of this hemisphere, Native American, American. So I'm native to this land, and when I was trying to do my reconnect about 13 years ago, I was in the middle of a 7-year relationship with a white tea woman. She was American, born here, European, Ukrainian descent, and like Ukrainian German, something like that. And in those 5 years that we were together, because we did it for 2 more years, but 5 years that we lived together, her parents never knew about us. They never knew that she had a boyfriend. They were so racist that it was just it was really, they never knew until we broke up. Actually, after the 7 years, I got depressed. I was trying to practice my indigeneity, continue to practice my roots, focus on my tradition for the medicine, the healing medicine, the herbs, the tradition of our food. What they say, our food is our medicine. And this woman didn't like to cook for shit. She liked to microwave lasagna. And I would, it was just after, at first it was okay. I could deal with it a year, maybe two, and then it was just like I'm getting sick. I was getting sick, and I was trying to connect more with my roots. And this girl started saying, "You just want to be Indian again, so you could hate white tea people." And she would throw necklaces away that I was working on, or if I went to a ceremony, she like give me a hard time for like a week. It was just like, what the hell is going on, man? So I started to realize that when I met her, I was very assimilated to the system. I wanted a car, house, like I was living the colonizer lifestyle. And when I started to connect more to my roots and be, more traditional, I started to see the impact, and I started to see a phase that I wasn't used to with her, and everything changed. And I was like, You know, it just hit me
R&B
so
like
hard that when I broke up with her, I was like, I can never put myself through that again, you know, because
just request again.
yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
No, you're good. I was telling her just request again R&B.
I was just gonna say something really quick. I feel like when you were asking unacceptable about basically why you see that a lot of mixed or biracial people aren't accepted into black spaces is I don't think first of all, because I've seen actually a lot of lives where biracial people were accepted, but we also have to remember that like you are perceived phenotypically. So if you phenotypically perceive as white and like people can't even tell that you're black or mixed at all, that that definitely that that definitely makes the difference. Sorry, I don't know what's happening. That
I see what y'all is doing. Let's say.
wait.
Hold on. Just one more person that needs to turn on his camera. You tell him to mute himself.
I don't know what the fuck that was. Yeah, he just
I think
called.
it was a troll.
I was so confused. I was like, is that me? But I also
I'm just
feel
like
like
laughing.
sometimes I feel like the only pushback when it comes to biracial people is that sometimes only just from personal experience with biracial people, they're very willing to accept the fact that they are white, but like being black isn't perceived as, not that it's bad. I don't feel like being black is bad, but in society today, being black is not the, like, you know, it's like people will literally, like, you can look at the comments right now, some of the things people are saying about black people is insane, or black women in general. So I feel like if you're able to accept the fact that you are both black and white, and you are not just only accepting the fact that you are white or that you are mixed, and you are accepting the fact that you're not mixed, you are black and white. I'm sorry, I hate the term mixed or biracial. You are black and white. So you need to be able to accept both sides of yourself before you even enter stations like that.
Well, I think it's more than just black and
Is it
white,
okay if
sister,
I just respond
respectfully.
here quickly, and I'll be very brief. So the reason why I identify as biracial, for me, that's an acknowledgement and a celebration of all of who I am. So I'm personally not offended by self-identifying as such. I also think it's important to keep in mind that a lot of biracial people that are black and white, I'll just speak from that perspective, we don't have black mothers, we have white mothers. So it's only natural that we're going to identify with our mothers, at least in culture, at least
Exactly.
in mindset. That doesn't mean that we don't have an appreciation for our blackness, but children tend to generally identify with their moms because that's who's raising them. But I have two parents, right? I have a black parent, I have a white parent. To me, that's just common sense that I would identify as mixed race. So, and you have to also keep in mind, there is a lot of animosity and hatred that does come from black women from towards black men who date interracially. I'm not saying that's your fault, because black men, they act a whole fool when they date out. But if I have a parent that isn't a black woman, why would I be okay with being in the presence of women that don't like who my mother is?
Let me
We
take
don't
this
all
one,
come from
y'all.
broken homes. We don't all have shitty relationships with our mother's side of the family. So why would I be okay with people who are not like my mom disrespecting her? That's not okay. I would never go into a black household saying that, oh, black moms ain't this and that. No. As a woman, I'm going to respect my parent. That's how I'm raised. Period.
Okay, let me answer this one, y'all. Okay, so there is a difference between biracial children, whether their mom is black or whether their dad is black. So
Mhm.
biracial children who tend to have a white mom, specifically women, y'all are raised to think that black women are jealous of y'all,
No, we're
Definitely
not.
not.
because of,
No, we're not.
i.e., no
No,
no
we're
no
not.
because of your hair, because of
How
your
would
Definitely
you
not.
know?
features,
No, we're not.
those
And
things.
you
Yes,
wouldn't
you
know.
guys are.
No,
Y'all
how do
are
you
more
know?
likely
How do you know
to
how
be
I'm raised?
raised
I can
You
tell you
don't
how
know
I
how
was
we were
to think
raised.
raised. What
that
are you
black
even
women are
talking
jealous of
about?
y'all. I've seen it, and I've heard other biracial women tell the truth about it.
And that's
And that's
everybody?
why I think that
That's
there's a
everybody?
You
disconnect.
I
can't you
wasn't
That's
can't
raised
why I
that
think
way.
that
generalize
there
it
is a
though. You can't
disconnect
Exactly. That's
generalize it.
between
You
no,
have
Diego.
biracial
I
to
women
mean, she's
having
sharing
black
her
women,
experience. And I think we should respect her experience. You know,
and you see how they
I
are
see
getting
that. I
triggered.
do see that, and the same thing goes for Mexican, brown. You know, my descendants comes from that region, and you see the lighter skin natives,
Yes.
and the darker skin natives, and I think people do think they're a little bit higher sometimes. You know, they
You
get more
can't tell someone
opportunities
how
at
they were
work. If you
raised,
look at
though.
the
And if I
Mexican
say I
channels
wasn't
today,
raised
What does
that
that have
like
to
I'm
way,
do
just
with
saying,
how
if
my
you guys
mom raised me?
ever look at Hispanic channels, like Mexican channels, you'll see the lighter skinned Hispanics, the lighter skin. How come they never put a
Uncle
brown
Manny,
Mexican?
can you tell me
But y'all
verbatim how
can
I was
sit,
I'm
but
just
raised
y'all
in
saying
can sit,
conversation
she
by
but
is
y'all
having
can
spreading a
sit
my
lot
and
too.
listen
Let's
opinion?
to
just keep
him
it real.
speak. But when it's
I
time for me
am
to speak,
keeping it
everybody
real.
want to interject. But then I
I
look
don't
like an
really feel
angry
like that's
woman because
keeping
I
it
have to
real
speak a
because
little louder to
Lexi,
speak
I
over
seen you
y'all.
on other panels, and Lexi, you be in all of the the racist panels and all that, like standing up for black people, and you be amongst people that talk about how they don't like YT people, and you ain't never say nothing about nothing like what you just said before. You
And
never
Probably
said
you
I
it.
don't
want to
follow me
finish. I
around
want to
enough. I'm
finish my
always on
statement.
interracial panels.
I want
That's
to
what I
finish
just
my
said.
statement because
I
y'all listen
said
to him
like
speak.
you. No, I'm not cutting you off, sis. I just want to say something, Lexi.
I'm tired of
Um,
people trying to always tell biracial people how we're raised. If
I
you
mean, I
don't
Exactly.
come
already
from
know
an
how you was
interracial
raised. Like that's
household,
not my
you're
thing.
not
That's
in a
not what I'm.
position to tell us how we're raised. That's it.
Again,
But
You
let
know
me
how
finish
black
Lexi, you
women
just
are
said
speaking.
raised. You know how black men
culturally.
Let
are
me
raised.
finish speaking.
You
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 don't know
made
how
just
your
black
said
people
statement.
are
Let me make
raised.
culturally
mine.
that.
You made your statement. Let me make mine because you're trying to insinuate that black women are jealous of you, and that's not true. What
That's
I
what?
said is
I
there's
never
What?
said
a
that.
difference.
When she
She
said black
literally
people was
just
jealous
said
No,
of
that.
she did not.
She
I'm
literally
like,
just said that black
There's no
women
way.
tend to not like her because
no,
of
she
That's
her
not
said
what I
black
appearance.
women
said.
tend to
Yes, she
not
did.
like.
You
She
can't. You
said
don't listen to
no. What
shit.
she said was she don't get up on panels with black women that don't like white women because she don't have a bad relationship with her
That's
mother.
also not what I said. I
So,
said in general, I don't deal with people that have an issue with my origin story.
But
I
you're
said that there are black women, and I'm speaking from my experience getting interracially,
Exactly.
especially when
That's
it's a white
exactly
woman.
what I just
Why
said.
would I be okay with being in the presence of people that have an issue with my existence? That's common
And
sense.
again, black
that
women
don't
don't
mean
have an
nobody
issue
has
with your
no.
existence.
That
But can
don't
I
mean
finish
nobody
my
have an issue with
statement?
your existence.
There is a difference between the gender of the parent that is black. For
What you
biracial
said was wrong.
children,
You said culturally you identify as the same thing that you identify that your mother
I said
identify as,
children
and your
for
mother is
identify
white.
with
When
biracial
their
was that
mother.
children,
ever?
if
If
the
your mother
parent
is
is
Children.
white,
white, if the
when
parent
is
is
that
Children
white,
ever?
women are
identify.
typically raised
Raylene,
up
I'm
to
so proud
think
of
that
you for
black women
When
exiting
are
did
this
that
jealous
ever
of
community.
become a
them
part
Stay
of the
with
because
white
of
us.
their
culture?
skin
Stay
tone and
with
their
us.
hair texture. I have heard many biracial children, specifically women, come up on lives and speak about it. There are TikToks about it that are for women telling the truth about it. And that's because, again, you as a biracial woman, you being a black woman, your mother cannot relate to that at all. So she will not
Exactly.
be able to teach you about the blackness of yourself, especially being a black woman. So I don't
But my father
understand
can, all
how you
right?
are
My
saying that you do
grandparents
not even
can.
put yourselves in
Your father
rooms
cannot
of
teach you
people
how to
who
be a black
understand
woman.
you.
He can teach you how to be a
Shit.
black man.
What about my grandmother though? Because I was raised
Yeah,
by
your
I was
grandmother
very close
can.
to my grandmother growing up. Did
I
she
just
not
wanted
have
to
an
speak on
influence?
something really quick.
But how?
Um,
But you said culturally
I
that you
said,
Yeah,
identify
okay, I
as
want you
what.
I've
all to
seen it before.
Lexi,
listen.
calm
If
down, girl.
you're
Let me
I've
finish.
seen this
You
before.
listen
said
to hear
Again,
them out
culturally.
what
You
you're
just like
said.
her.
saying.
And
What
How
you
I
can
as a
you
white
tell me
said
woman,
what
is
you
that
said
your
if you
mother
don't
children
even know
cannot
what I'm
relate
about
to
to
their
understand
say?
your
mother.
blackness. She will
Their
not be
mother
able to
raised
teach
them.
you
It's just
about who
that
you are
simple.
as a black woman. So you
Lexi,
created
you're not
some type
even
of
really hearing what I'm
resentment
saying to even
against black
understand what I
women,
was saying.
and you think that we are jealous or
Unacceptable.
feel a type of way about you, and
Unacceptable.
that's not
Can
true.
I just say something to Lexi real quick, please? Lexi, you said culturally that you said your mother's white, and then culturally that you identify as what your mother is. But what
That's
culture is
not what
that
I
from?
said, Jazz.
Yeah,
That's not
you
what I
did say
said.
that.
No, I didn't say that. I said
Oh my
children
god.
typically identify, regardless of what their mother is, your child is going to relate to what their mother is because that's who's raising them. I
And
sincerely
then
don't
as an
understand what
example, you
the
said my
issue is
mother
with
is
what I
white.
said.
If
How would
that's
I know
so
your
true,
mother is
if that's
white,
so
girl,
true,
if you didn't say it? I wanna know your mother was white,
exact.
you did
No, no,
say
no.
that.
You know what? You identify as biracial. You don't even say that you're black and white. Like that's my thing. Like you're saying
I
stuff, but you
When Uncle Manny come on here, he said, "What do you identify as?" I said biracial, black and
he
white. Did
asked
I
you, you
not?
Uncle
would have never
Manny is
said that
racist
had
as
he
shit.
asked you.
Why
You
would
would
not
have
Uncle
never
Manny
said that you
auction
were
That was
black
the
and
somebody
first
white.
off
thing
his
I
panel?
said when I came up here. This
Can I
is
just
why
say
people
something
like
really
Rena
quick?
don't date.
Uncle
honestly,
Manny was
within your
going
Girl,
to the
community
nobody
because
Black
cares
Hall
because y'all have the
Study
you
same
should
today.
care.
personality.
Can
Y'all
I
This is
just
why
say
I think
something
biracial
people
really
kids,
need to
quick?
take
y'all
time and
biracial
have
kids
their
have the
own
same
internalized
personality.
self-hatred
Y'all swear that
before they
somebody's
do
jealous of
interracially.
y'all. Y'all swear that
Girl, who
somebody don't like
thinks
y'all
someone
because
is
y'all
jealous?
mix.
You
There
just
is
keep
no
yapping.
Jealous, I
trophy
said
in being
You
unpack your
mixed.
yapping.
internalized
Like, what are you
self-hatred. That
There's no
doesn't mean
yapping?
trophy in
jealousy.
being mixed,
It takes,
period. There is no trophy in being mixed with anything other than
I
black. So nobody
agree.
is jealous of you.
I
Nobody cares
agree. I
about
never
anything
said
that you're
jealous.
mixed
I
Who
in
said
said you
with.
were
hate. Hate
jealous
and
of
You
me?
jealousy are not the
insinuated
same.
it, baby. You
Can I just
insinuated it. And
I
you
can I
did
just
said
that
say
hate
No
because you
one
something
don't
really
put yourself
fast?
insinuated. You're
in
just
rooms with black
yapping.
women.
You're mad for
When
no
Can I
you're
say
reason.
a black woman
something?
You're mad for
yourself.
no reason.
Can I
Like I
say
just
Mad
said,
for
something?
no
your
reason.
mother cannot teach you about your blackness, so she can't relate to that
This
part.
is
because
exactly
I'm
why I had asked
biracial,
that question,
dumbass.
because I have seen
Biracial
this
people
over
are
and
not
over
monolithic.
where
We're
people
mixed.
to mix people, or people who are biracial constantly get mixed because they need to prove their status. Like, if you're black, how black are you? Because you white and you were raised in a white household, right, with a white mom, and maybe so I think that's where problems all kinds
Manny,
of
why is
problems
you
arise.
even speaking on this topic and you
It's
don't
not
support
though,
black people?
because
I'm
again, she
sorry.
just
Tell
insinuated
me
that
I'm
Oh
somebody
my
is
being
god,
jealous
my
of
I
me,
can't
and
hear
hair.
you.
I'm
What?
saying
I
that
just
I'm
wanted
jealous.
to
I'm
say
not
really
I
quick,
jealous.
said
T.
This is stuff
unacceptable.
that I've seen before. Biracial kids have these same talking points, and it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make
You
any
have
Don't
the
you
same
sense.
talking point. You just keep saying the
Manny,
same
don't you
thing.
don't like black
No one
people?
said you're jealous of
Don't
anyone.
you be calling black
You're
people like
insinuating it. You don't have to
wild
say
hoes or
it.
some shit like
Black
that?
women
I
Who
don't
was
like me because of
I was
insinuated it?
gonna say that
Who
my
insinuated it,
What is
biracial.
girl?
wrong with Jazz?
Girl, that's not the reason.
There's
Most of y'all
nothing
have
Who
wrong with
God
me being
complexes
insinuated
black
and
and
it?
think
my
that
getting
somebody's
talked about
telling
Please,
you
if
what
you're
being
not
to
gonna
wild.
if you're
say.
gonna
Chloe,
spread
I
hate,
don't
I
know
won't
what
even
you
talk
want to
about
say,
this
but
topic.
nobody cares. Trying to say
I
something.
want
Brown
Go
people
ahead,
can be
go ahead.
racist.
What
Manny,
did
you
you
do
want to
not
say,
like black
Parmesan?
people. And you
I
not
was just
brown,
gonna
Manny.
say
I got
that
a lot of black
I
friends. I
don't
don't know what she's Lizzette's talking about over
I'm losing
here.
my point. It doesn't matter anymore.
I think she's an
I'll get it and I'll come
aborigine
back.
or something.
Y'all got
I'm
it.
gonna go ahead
Continue.
and
Who are
drop. Y'all have
Aborigines?
a wonderful and productive
I've heard it
Speak
before.
So
English.
so
I've
Tuesday.
easy
heard
55. You got
it
a
all
easy
before.
55. You got a white tea girlfriend. It looks like on your profile. If I'm looking right, or maybe your wife. What, I don't know if you guys get together or not, but do you ever worry about that? Like, how's my kid? Is my son or my daughter gonna be brought up? How do we bring them up? And do they need to prove themselves more towards the white tea community, more towards the black community to be accepted? Like, have you ever thought about that, or have you experienced that already? If you have kids with it, or no, not yet.
Manny, why do you feel comfortable speaking on the platform that
Bro,
you
this is a
don't like?
conversation. I
What are
wasn't.
you
I
talking
was
about?
You
It's not
do
a
not,
accepted.
racial
I
Manny,
was
you do
relationship.
not
accepted to
like
jump
black
in here. Why
people.
you keep cutting?
And
Why you
you was
trying to start
auctioning,
I'm gonna
stuff
be
you was
with us?
honest.
auctioning black people off on
What's
your
wrong with
panel.
Jazz, yo? Is
Okay,
Just
Jazz
like
like a
how
Melody.
you
troll?
auctioning black people
I'm gonna
off
be
on your
Tripping.
honest.
panel.
Since I'm the host, I stay
I just
neutral
ask a
throughout the
hoes.
situation, so I don't really say much. I just let people solve their own problems in here. So I hear everybody arguing, so I'm just listening to see who's going to be the problem solver or not.
No, and I can see that a lot of people are on the wrong side of history. Y'all, they literally got y'all thinking that the ones who were oppressed are the problem. How read the man? It's irritating. It's irritating because if y'all learned a lot more about our people instead of just putting whatever you think is on us, y'all would know a lot more. That I've heard the same things with biracial kids, especially the ones with white mothers, especially the women with white mothers, because they always assume or insinuate that black women have some type of jealousy against them, and that's not true at all.
I was going to speak to the fact that when she had brought up the fact that why would I want to get to know or be around, basically be in spaces with people who don't like my mother. I want to speak to that fact because black women weren't raised to just hate white women. I was never raised in my house to hate white women. What I was told a lot by other black men is white women on a higher pedestal and then talk down on black women. Not all men who date outside their race do
That
that,
is
but
true. I've heard that too.
a very
They
good
were
chunk of
raised
them
to
do
hate
that. And
them.
then they want to act
Wait, so that
surprised when there is pushback
that's
when it comes
not
to
that's not what I said at all. I said that when I was in my interracial relationship,
I
the
Girl,
wasn't
she
talking
did
about
not say
me.
that's
I
what
the
you
was saying
said.
majority.
They was
I'm
raised to not That's like exactly us.
I
She did
wasn't
not say that's
No,
what you
not
said,
raised that way.
girl.
We
Raina,
don't
I
I
wasn't
see
talking
know
about
racism
you.
that.
I
on
was
our
talking about the
face.
girl
I
who left.
know that, but I'm saying that the majority of the prejudice that I had was extreme and it was from the African American community. And that's why I was asking why.
Yeah, but I wasn't talking to you or your point. I was talking to the girl who left.
I know that, but it's the same point. She was
Yeah,
saying
but I
the
wasn't
same.
talking
She
to
was saying
you.
the same thing, that there was prejudice
Lord.
against her family for whatever reason, and she was asking why. And so I'm saying the same thing. Why do African American people have such a prejudice against my people?
We don't have a
Wait, who's your
president. We don't
people?
even
Who's your
worry about
people?
y'all unless that's the thing. Like y'all,
Girl,
the
who's even
things with
talking to
other
you? I'm
races
so
is y'all feel
confused.
like we have y'all on the forefront of y'all our minds, like y'all think about us.
They think that
But
we
we
all
don't.
jealous of
We
them, but
don't. We
yet
do
y'all
not worry
steal
about
everything
other
from us.
races.
Y'all
It's
steal
the
the way we dress.
racism that gets
Y'all
us
steal the way
come
we
into
talk.
talking
Y'all
about
steal the
y'all
way
or
we
being
act.
with
And you
Oh
talk
my
y'all.
about we
goodness.
That's
jealous
the
of
only
you
thing. Other
and
than that,
prejudice
we're worried
against
about
you.
ourselves.
Who the
Nobody
fuck are
said
you?
that.
Reina, who's your people? If you don't mind me asking, real quick.
I'm indigenous. I'm Mexican and Yaqui.
Okay, so I
And
wouldn't
you
think that black
Mexican, you
people
think
think
somebody
that. I
prejudice
don't think
against you.
black people
Girl,
think
get the
that
fuck
about
out of
us.
here.
No, I don't
What
think
I
that
do
that's
believe, what I do
in
believe is
general.
there's a group within the black community called the Aborigines or the Pretendians or the wannabe Aboriginals who try
It's
to
whatever
erase
y'all
us.
call them.
And so we
Pretendians,
do have
wobbles,
receipts on
whatever.
how racist they have been and hateful towards us. But that doesn't mean this brother here, the host, or other sisters here have any beef with us about that. You know, I'm
But you
indigenous
passive
too.
aggressive as hell. You could have kept all that to yourself. You
Yes,
talk
and
about
then
wanna be
Manny be racist as
aboriginal.
shit to black people too.
So
I'm gonna let all
that's a
y'all
And then
know
lie.
my
that
That's a
point,
lie,
too.
my
Jazz.
point though,
You
Because
get
if
to
you
cut it
go,
out.
no, that's not a
You got to
lie.
cut it out.
Manny,
This is,
I
my
you know
actually
what?
really liked you.
Stop.
I actually used
Stop
to come
pushing
to
the
your
little
people.
baby
panel
beefs
all
are
the
killing
time
me.
because I
Okay.
really liked you.
Girl, then
And
when
Can I
we
then
just
speak
you
say
on
came
something
in
ours,
here
really
then when we
quickly?
bitching,
speak on
and
our
I said
people,
you
people
Speaking
try
to
to
the
disrespecting
fact,
clarify
black people
I
something.
was just
not
Now
So
we
because you
speaking.
know
Jazz,
what I
let
can
me
do.
address Jazz real quick, please,
I'm
if I
not. Don't
may.
nobody
Sure.
So
care, y'all.
Jazz,
Like that's my
I
thing.
removed a lot of people that you
Yeah.
could see their anti-blackness. I removed a lot of them. Even recently, I cut off a lot of people. Why? Because they get triggered. When you have people come up and say you're Mongolian, Siberian, you're not original, you're a Hispaniard, Spanish, all this shit, and people, there's a lot of them, thousands who are not mixed with Europeans. There's
But what
thousands.
then y'all
And
just
so
do
they get triggered too. And then they
yeah, and that's
start getting
fine that they
upset
get
and
triggered.
they start
But I'm
being
not
they get
talking
triggered
about
too.
them. I'm
I'm
not talking
sorry?
about them, Manny. I'm talking about you because I
Monty, you
actually
Yeah, and
so
I'm
held
hurt
telling
and
you
you
what it
so
is.
mad
you.
I
about
don't have
somebody
No,
nothing
that
I
I
don't
have
know
actually
nothing
you.
against
I actually held
black
You
you
people
stay
at
on
all.
mad.
a high standard.
Keep typing them little
I
Twitter
held
fingers
you
behind
Okay, I'm
a
not gonna
fake
lie.
page.
Wait, I'm not gonna lie.
unacceptable. Can I please speak real quick? Manny, like I really liked it you when I first started coming to your page, and I thought that you was one of them because it seemed to me like you was trying to like manage it, and you was trying to like find like a compromise between the black community and your own people. However, when I came to your panel, when I started really coming to your panel, and I started seeing how when it was a lot of y'all in there, y'all would bring one black person in there and gang up on that black person,
So no,
or
that's not how it works. The thing is,
no, that's how it
let
did.
me
I
explain. Let me
witnessed it with
This
my
explain.
is
own
a
eyes.
whole other topic, man.
When I scroll through TikTok and we come across those live streams where there's the pretendians, the people that claim to be the original that we're not. That's already triggering to us because we don't do that to the black community, the
How is it
Bantu people.
triggering
We
to
don't
How
do
is
y'all?
that
it
to
Y'all
you.
triggering
don't
to
know.
We
y'all?
don't do that
Y'all
to the
don't
black
know.
community.
Did
We
But
don't
you
go
but
and
you
know?
say,
know what's
Did
triggering
you?
to me?
I'm
You know
sorry,
what's
brother.
triggering to me?
I'm trying to
You
share
put
some
up
words, but
no
I'll
no.
wait.
You put up a picture of your cousin who was blacker than me. And y'all see
Yes.
my picture. Yeah. But you can tell me
That's
that
because
no.
the
Hold
brother,
on, Manny.
listen,
Let me
hey
finish.
host, I
Let
want to
me
explain this
finish,
to the host because
Manny.
he allowed me here
No,
respectfully, and
Manny, let me
you're trying to
finish. Let me
you're trying to
let
finish.
her
twist this.
finish. Let her
She
finish.
she
Finish
was
Cause
your
let
trying to
me
point.
finish.
twist things up.
I'm
That's
not.
fucked
You
up.
don't want
Go
me to
ahead.
finish because you don't want me to say the
I
truth.
do, but you're
So
twisting
let me
lies.
finish. You
Go
don't
ahead.
know what I'm saying.
This isn't even the topic. Like, I
Yes, you
understand
are,
you're
because the only
trolling, but
reason
this
I
is
show
not the topic.
my
No,
cousin
I'm
and
Like,
my
not.
brother
Manny,
is
that's
just
not
because
what
be
they're
he's
quiet,
black.
arguing.
Manny. Just be
Just
quiet.
let her
They're
finish her
melanated
point.
people.
Let her finish her point. Everybody
So
mute.
you put up a picture where your cousin was darker
This
than
is
me.
just not the
So
conversation for it, but go
yo,
ahead.
Manny, be quiet, yo. Like,
Not the police for
yo,
this, but
what
go
is
ahead.
wrong with you? You put this picture up about your cousin and said that this is your cousin. Your cousin was darker than me. So if your cousin can be darker than me and be one of your people, and you don't know any of these people, and you don't know in none of their background, how can you tell them what their background is and tell them that they came from Africa because they dark when your cousin darker than me?
Also, did you know back then that black people were not allowed to
Oh my
identify
Host,
as
I'm
goodness.
sorry,
different?
this is being sidetracked from your
They were
topic on
they
the
were
background.
not
He's moving
allowed
his
to
head to the
identify
so you
as
guys can
children.
read what he's saying. The
They made
topic.
them identify
No,
as
Manny, you
slaves.
don't want people to know the truth
So
about
So
here's the
you're your
the truth
black
is this.
man
The
saying
truth
something
is
where
the
I
truth
got
is.
to
Listen, brother.
identify as Indian.
Let the host speak real quick. 'Cause, hey, man, if it's up to you, I'll answer her. But I really feel like this ain't the place for this kind of conversation, bro. But
So
go ahead, man.
What's the
tell
main
me why we
control
can't talk
You're
about
method?
trying to
this.
you're trying to be condescending right now, man.
Wait,
You're trying to
you,
talk
the
about
host
things
is
that
trying to
don't involve
speak.
this live
It
stream.
do.
Nuh-uh,
So
Professor.
anything else,
Manny.
The host was
Manny,
trying to
y'all
speak
want me to go?
there.
I don't
Yeah,
care.
let the
I've
host
been
speak
the
for
only
a
one
moment. If he
bringing
wants me
I'm
to carry
telling
on with
her
this,
the
I'll continue to
conversation.
answer you.
That's why I'm still here.
No.
So you might
See,
not like
the
what I
thing
say,
is,
but I'm saying
there's people within that community who come out and don't even. And the guy said, and this was, if I believe correct, Opium said, how come y'all don't look like the native people 500, 600 years ago before colonialism? And I said, obviously, because our women were
But I'm
getting
not
raped.
talking about what
Let
your
me finish,
conversation
please.
is.
We
I
bear
don't
the
give a damn
scars.
what the
We bear the scars
conversation
of
is about.
colonialism. But my auntie, and that's why I showed a photo of my brother, of my cousin, because I'm like, they're darker than you, bro, and you're black, and they're darker than you, but they ain't black. That doesn't. You're just. It's a topic that
That's
doesn't
because you
matter,
don't know
bro.
what
It's
black stands
irrelevant to
for.
what the
Man, you
argument's
don't know
about.
what
That's
black
all.
stands for. You a fucking fraud. Because you don't know what
That's all
black
you're
stands
saying.
for.
I just explained to you
You
what it
don't. And
is.
I'm going to
I
explain to
was
you this.
born in Cabrini Green in
I'm going
Chicago.
to
I was
There's
born in a
explain.
clearly not
black
going to be a
community. How the hell are you
resolution,
gonna
so
say
we
I don't
dropped
know the
okay,
it.
black
but
community?
there
I
were
was
a
You,
brought
group
up in a
of
black
black
yo,
community.
Indians that didn't
man,
were
you
not
can't
allowed
say
to
that they're not
identify
black.
as Indians. They
There's
were
not going to
I
be a
Man,
never said they're
resolution
not
until
black.
we
I
get
said
to
they're
it.
That's
you
what
black,
they're
but
just
my
said
saying.
that
family.
they're
Because
not
Can
black.
I finish, please?
y'all
Man,
bro,
you,
My cousin, my
Right,
brother are
bro.
more melanated than people who are black. And I said we had melanated people here too, but they didn't have that carbon melanation that African people descendants do. That's all. That's all I said. And I showed him, turn on your camera and I'll show you my cousin and my phone. Here's their photos.
Manny,
That's
if
all I
you
said.
don't
You're trying to
know, if
twist
you
things and
don't
make it
know,
seem
no,
like I'm
I'm
out here
not.
trying to tell people that you
No,
ain't
I'm
black
no,
not.
but
enough.
what you
That's
are trying
weird.
to say
Manny,
is there
you
is
know
no
why?
such
You
thing
know
as
why
black
I said what I
people,
said, Manny?
and that's
Because
not
you don't know
true.
these people from Adam to Eve. You don't know what their background is,
That's literally
what
not
their
true.
lineage
Like
is,
y'all
and you
literally,
can't tell it just
oh
by
my god.
talking to them.
So they
But
shouldn't go
what
on my live
you,
streams and attack me and say that we are Spaniards
Manny,
and
half
white
of them
people
wasn't
because we
even
ain't.
attacking you. Manny,
That's
half
all
of
I'm
them in
saying.
that panel
That's all I'm
when you
saying.
put that
None of the
picture up.
people here know that
You
His
had
conversation.
intentions were to
you had a
embarrass
I
me
picture
and
of
apologize,
everything.
host.
Monkey.
I
His
apologize to the
intentions
Yo,
people
were
here that I wanted to talk about this topic. This is a great topic you got going on. This person's coming out here bringing shit that has nothing to
now you're
do
Manny,
a
you a
with
victim.
any of this
condescending ass
Now
conversation.
bitch.
you're a
You don't
For
even
victim.
let me.
real.
We're just sharing a nice
You
Now
are
you're a
too
conversation with
victim.
everybody here.
condescending.
You coming out
You
here
don't want
bringing
to
up
You're not
let
stuff
a
that don't
nobody
have
victim.
nothing to
talk.
do with
You
this.
don't want nobody to speak on you because you don't want it to be brought out that you
Can
a
listen. I could
racist
go on my
and
live stream
y'all
and
all
anybody here
black
can
people
follow
are
me
I'm
and we
not
can have this
nobody
anti-racist.
going
conversation
there.
over
Manny,
there.
you don't even know how to shut up.
I'm
You don't
just
even know
Nobody
telling
how to
you,
going
this
shut
there.
has
up and
nothing to do
respectfully
with
let
this
somebody else
topic.
talk.
I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry,
I don't
host.
care. It's not your
I
panel, man.
apologize on her behalf,
The
but she's
host
just
Ninjas
ain't
bringing
are
saying
drama
nothing
not
to
here. She's
YG.
bringing drama that has nothing to
The
do with
host
this
Yeah, I
ain't
topic.
am
saying
confused
nothing
what
to
that has to do
YG.
with.
of a fuck. I don't
And it
care.
was already
So she
wrong for you to
supports
talk
You're a
on the
the
victim.
topic.
pretendians, people
You don't
who
know what
claim
I
to be who
support.
are black
You don't
African
know what I
descendants, but
support
they
because
say
you
they ain't
won't let me
African
talk.
descendants. They're the
You won't
real
let
native
me get
people
none of
from
my
this
points
land.
out. Manny,
Okay,
you're
this is
She
phony.
that's
this
what she
You're
supports.
phony.
People who
You
this
they
won't let me
isn't
get none of
this
Reina,
my
is not
points
going
out. You keep
anywhere.
over
This point
talking
is
me
not
because
going
you scared.
anywhere.
Reina,
This
these
isn't
are the
going
ones she
anywhere, and
supports the wannabe
it's
aborigines
not
or the
No, I
solving
people
don't.
that's
Who
anything.
the
is
No, I
oh
don't.
yeah.
wannabe?
No, I don't.
Who
You
is
don't know
Yes, you
what you're
do,
wannabe?
talking
Bro,
Jazz.
about.
Yes, you
Who
do,
is
Jazz.
You
wannabe?
a liar and you a clown. And I
can we
hope
let
one
it
day
go?
you meet the
I'm
right
sorry,
person.
Easy 55.
Like,
I'm
I
sorry,
hope you
brother man.
meet the right black person that beats you the fuck up.
I'm
What?
all for
Now
Yeah,
people
now
you
you
having
now
their
you
did.
saying someone should
opinion,
beat me up? Why you being
No, I'm
but
threatening?
saying
this is not
no,
the
I'm not saying
topic,
no
bruh.
someone should
Bro,
beat you
this
up.
Jazz is
I'm
gonna
saying
get your
I
live
hope
stream
you meet
drop,
the
bro. She
right
just said that
black.
she's gonna bring somebody
I hope
to whoop
you
my
meet the
asses.
right. I
She
didn't
said
say
she
I was
hopes
gonna bring
somebody to beat
nobody nowhere. Shut your
Bro,
lying
what?
ass up.
Stop talking about violence. Stick
You
to the
a
topic, please.
liar.
If you have beef
You
with
a
me,
liar,
then
That's
Manny.
please
You
okay.
go
a
on
I'm
my
gonna
liar.
live
just
stream when I
educate on
You
join
my
in.
acting like a
platform.
You
YG
ain't even
person.
Okay,
you
I'm gonna just
disrespecting this
educate on
brother's
my
live
Manny,
stream right
shut
platform.
here.
up.
I'm ready
Shut
to
up,
be a
Manny.
bull
Shut
because
up.
you can't
Just
get
shut
me,
up,
baby.
Manny. You a clown.
Y'all
You a
don't know me
Okay,
clown.
okay,
well.
Jazz, whatever whatever you
Hey,
say.
we
Let's
get it.
get to
Yeah,
the
Like
topic,
we have
you
to
a
please.
clown.
move
What is
on from that.
the topic, man? Because ain't nobody been talking about
It
the
says
topic.
right there,
The topic
We
is
were
support. Do
on
you
the
ratchet.
support
we were on the
interracial
subcategory
relationships?
of the topic, but the topic
So
was
be
being talked
quiet.
about.
Yeah, we're ratchet, but nobody else is ratchet. Okay, I don't care.
We were on
Everybody
the
in
we
this,
were
everybody on this panel has been gaslighting us. Everybody on this panel has been making it seem like we were jealous. Now because we giving some pushback, I'm
Wait, I
reading
had
off
your back.
Exactly.
Unacceptable.
Nobody made it
I
Unacceptable.
seem
I
don't
like
had
care.
your
you're
back
I'll be
on this
jealous.
ratchet. I'll be
conversation.
ghetto.
No,
I'll
that's
be
not.
ratchet. I'll be
Exactly.
ghetto. I don't care.
Unacceptable. I was backing you up. I don't understand what you're saying. We all.
Manny, but you
Yeah.
backing her up. You was backing her up and you was being phony about it because on your
Exactly.
panels you be
What
You'll
are you
get
talking.
that for
talking
the rest
about?
of
You a
it.
Oh
So
my
fraud.
you can
goodness.
keep
What
that
the
You a
business.
fuck is
fraud. You
going
a
You can
on?
fraud,
keep it.
man.
You can keep it.
For real.
All
And
right,
I don't need you to
unacceptable. On
back
my
her. I'll
bad.
back
Go ahead
her.
and stay mad then.
I'll back her. Let me back my
Go and
people.
be
You
mad
back
at
your
a
own
mixed
people.
whitey black woman, I guess. Because
What?
that
YT
girl
black
came up and she didn't
woman.
say nothing negative to you. She shared
What
her
are
Hmm.
you
experience
talking about?
as a
First
biracial
of all,
woman,
And her
I know
and you
experience,
started to
her
invalidate
Exactly.
experience
her.
lack knowledge, and
I
Yeah,
that's
you
know her
started
okay
to
because I
Hear
invalidate
what
experience,
respect
Monique
her.
her.
has to
Manny.
say.
How does
Stop
her
Her
letting
experience
her
experience
lack
lack
experience
knowledge?
Hey, hold up. The
knowledge.
host is speaking. Hold up. What's that host?
You got anything to say about the topic, Monique?
I would like to, but it's hard to get a damn word in. Uh,
Monique, go ahead and talk. Say something about the damn topic.
that's what I'm trying to do.
Okay, go ahead and do it.
But yes, no, I do support interracial relationships. Um, as I am married to a Black man myself for 15 years, I have to disagree with the one lady that was up here. I do not think that Black women hate others that date Black men. I think that is such bullshit. I've never experienced that ever, and I had to say something about that because I've never dealt with that, and I don't know where that came from. But that bothered me, and then the fact that biracial children adapt more to their moms. No, I disagree with that as well.
Yeah, it bothered me as well because again, that's the whole point I was trying to make. Nobody's jealous of you. Like nobody literally cares, but it's the fact that when you do get in these biracial relationships, you let these men who don't even love themselves feed you a story
How did
about
they not love
don't
themselves?
like you because you're dating them. When in
Right. So
reality, they have put you on a pedestal and
That's
made you
not
feel like you're
that's
better
not
than
what I said at
someone.
all. You didn't let me finish. So actually, what was said to me
They're talking to
is
Lexi
Nobody's
about
talking
Lexi, what
about
yes,
you.
Lexi
We
said.
yes,
talking
you
about
were.
Liz. We
Yes,
were
you
talking
were.
about
You were
Liz.
you
Liz
tried to
was
tell
the
me
one
the
that said
same.
that black
You
women were
tried to tell me
jealous.
the
I would
same thing
hope
when I
my
brought
man
it up.
loves his
I didn't
community,
even
but
talk to you. I haven't spoken to you at
Yeah,
all.
you have like 4 times. But either
When?
way,
I think it's because
when I
you and
brought this
Lexi
up
have made the
before
same point, but most
twice,
people are talking in reference to Lexi, what Lexi said when she was
Exactly.
up
I
here.
I
was
know
if
that
you
she
want to
is,
speak on
but we
something,
were
Raina,
also
you can
talking
speak on
about
it, but
it.
nobody was talking to you.
You were though, but it's
I
okay.
wasn't. I was talking about Lexi replying to Monique. I didn't even say anything about you. But if you want to speak on it, you
When
can.
I had said that, you said that it was because I was saying that people are jealous of us and some other thing. She was already gone. But either
Lexi
way,
had already said
it
that though.
doesn't. I know
And
that.
acceptable, I think all you have to worry
I
about
don't.
is your man.
I
Like, you
don't
got
think
a
it really
boyfriend,
comes
worry
to
about
jealousy though.
I mean, if he
I think
loves you,
it comes
that's all you should care about.
I'm worried about my community, period. That's what the
No,
conversation is
because you came out
about.
and you said, hey, you think we're jealous because you're lighter skinned to that one sister that was like mixed and stuff. And that's
Yeah,
why I asked you,
that's
like,
Yeah.
what she
who cares?
insinuated.
Who cares if the
That's
Nobody
what
all
she
you got to
said
worry
insinuated.
because
about is your
nobody's
husband
jealous.
loving
Nobody
you, your
That's
man
insinuated.
loving you.
detrimental
That's
to
all you need
black
to worry
women.
about.
I would
That's
hope
detrimental to
my
black
man
women to
loves
have people
himself
thinking
for
That's
that
not
we're jealous
true.
of
She
y'all.
didn't harm
It's
you.
not
She didn't say
true.
nothing
So I'm
negative
not
to
just
you.
Nobody
gonna
What did
let
said
she
it
it.
say to
slide.
you?
I'm
She's
not
my
gonna
so
let it
husband.
slide.
delusional. Like you're
Nah, girl,
I'm
actually
but
not
she
gonna
didn't
let
say
it
nothing negative
slide.
to you. She didn't
I'm
say
not gonna
nothing
let it
negative to you.
slide.
Thank you,
It
Bro,
Manny.
you're
doesn't
being
matter.
over
She said it
defensive.
about
You're
black
being over
women.
defensive
She said
Thank
it
just
you,
because
about
she's
Manny.
black
half white.
women.
Nah, you're
She
being
said
over
it about.
defensive.
If I would have said something about natives, you would have been on my ass. So you can keep it
Thank you,
It
cute.
Manny.
depends what you would have said.
You
It
can keep
depends
it
what you would
cute.
have said. You can
Exactly.
Girl,
say
he
That's
stuff.
would
something
have
We
that
lit
I
having a
you
felt
on
like I needed to
conversation.
fire,
reply
and
to
he would have
because
called
black women
all
are
his
not
people.
jealous. I don't
He
care if she
would have
wasn't
called all
talking to
his
me
people to get you
specifically. She
banned
was
and get
talking
you
about
blocked
black
and all
women.
that.
So
You
I had
sounded like
something
you
to
were
say.
jealous about her, like just the
No,
way
I
you came
Exactly.
wasn't.
at
I
her, bro.
promise you, I'm not.
Yes.
But I don't like when
You,
people spread this
Manny,
dumbass
stop,
You
rhetoric.
Manny,
talked
stop
about her
saying
hair.
stuff
She
like
never even
that.
brought up her hair. You said,
Thank
"Oh,
you,
because
Okay,
you
Manny.
I
have a
said
Manny,
those
different
stop
things that
hair
I
and
saying
She
said.
this."
was
that.
I
giving
said those
Like,
things
examples.
that's
She
that
not
didn't say
white
anything
people
about her
say
hair
were jealous of
specifically.
them.
She was giving examples. She never said anything
Exactly.
about Lexi's hair
Exactly.
specifically.
but
Nobody's
just the way
jealous.
you
Like
were
keep
over
it cute.
defensive
Like
about
I
it, like
said, because if I
just let
said
her
something
be.
about
That's why
natives,
I'm
you
saying,
would have
Just
yo,
said
let
nothing
the
if
about
that's
sister
what
black
be,
I did to
women.
yo.
Manny,
Let
and
her
I would
be.
not finna want my
No,
Let
I
me
people
let me
won't
to
let
say
her be
something
because
really
she
because
quick.
decided to
Manny
Can
come
is
I
on
say
this
something
following
really
panel
fast?
and
and
he's
spread
trying to
rhetoric
play
about
both
black women. So
sides.
she
Yo,
don't get to
Easy
Can I
go
say
55.
something
When
through.
really
Lexi
fast?
came up, did she say anything negative to unacceptable, bro?
She
Like
said
I
real
need
it
to
about
say
talk.
black
something
No,
women.
really
she
I'm a
didn't,
quick.
black
right?
woman.
I need
I'm
to
a
say
black
She said,
something
woman.
really
So
quick.
I
she can get
address
the
myself
smoke
as
too.
You
biracial,
right,
and that's
he
it.
is,
She
yes,
can get
like
the
Real
smoke
fast, can I
too.
say something?
that's what
No,
he's
just
You
trying
tell
to
don't
her.
know
do,
about
You
me.
didn't
I
and
say
that's
anything.
why
promise
I
you, I
came
do
up
not
here to
care
Hey,
about
the
voice
y'all
my
host is
feelings.
listening
opinion.
to all of us. He can come up here
I
and
Manny,
say,
shut
"Did
promise I
up.
Lexi
don't care
say
about y'all
something negative?"
feelings.
No, she didn't.
Can I
I
Manny,
say
shut
promise
something
I
up.
really
don't.
fast?
Bro, you
Because
invalidated her. You wanted her to be silenced because she's mixed?
Man,
Calm
then
down,
shut
yo.
No,
up.
I
Calm
don't have a
down.
problem with her speaking on her experience, but do not spread a lie.
Bro, you
Don't
kept speaking
spread a
over
lie.
her.
Man,
Like,
And no
oh,
one was
you
spreading a
this, you
lie.
that. You think
Go
people
squeeze
jealous
in
of
a
you.
little
She
car,
never
Manny.
said
You
She
got
nothing.
me
never
No,
said
distracted.
that. That's
no,
not
She
what
never
no,
she
no,
Why
said
are
no, no,
you
said.
no.
nothing.
here?
Manny,
I
you're
Why are
not,
you
you're not,
here? Speaking
I'm
on
with you
hell
when you're right,
topics.
but I'm not with you when you're wrong, because that's not what she said. She was speaking to the fact of what Lexi had said about people hating her mom or black women. She didn't want to like be around in spaces of black women who do not respect her white mother. That's what unacceptable was speaking to. So
And
it had
everything
nothing,
that
it
I
was nothing
said,
directed. Hold on. It was nothing directed to Lexi specifically.
and everything I said, I made my points to her points. I never said anything about her. If I said anything about her, I was talking about the biracial. I wasn't talking about her. I was not jealous of her. The examples that I gave was the examples that biracial women give to black women as to why they think we're jealous of them. And I told her we
You're
weren't.
generalizing.
Yeah, who thinks
Manny,
that?
shut
Who
up.
thinks that?
How is it
Why?
generalized?
Why do
Because
biracial
it's not.
women think that? That's
Because
There
bullshit.
Manny,
has been biracial
you
women
not
in
white
my
and you
life.
not black.
There has been
So why
biracial
is you
women in
here
other black
talking about
women's life,
interracial
assuming that we're
It's
relationships?
an
jealous
open
of them.
conversation.
Because
You see
black
the
No,
men,
it's
topic.
not
black
for
Read the
men
you.
who
You're not.
topic.
love themselves
That's
Interracial
your
is
opinion.
don't
That's
do
anybody.
not a
nothing
fact.
that
That's
they
not
hear
Manny,
make
son.
you're
them
No.
think that we're
instigating.
jealous
That's what
of
Interracial
them.
you're
is
doing.
It's
a
not
variety
true.
of
Instigating.
different people from around the
It's not
world.
Manny,
true.
you're
Interracial is not
instigating.
just black and white. Interracial could be brown,
Oh
Manny,
my
Okay, but
you're
we're
native,
talking
god.
speaking
about
on black
black.
and white
Indian,
We're
topics.
talking
Chinese,
about
whatever.
black.
What are
We're
you
talking
talking
about
about?
anybody mixed
Manny,
with
you
black.
speaking on black and white topics.
And then
Girl,
also,
Exactly.
if
I
I
We're
want
talking
wasn't
about
to
allowed in
anybody
this
mixed with
space, the
black.
host would have never brought me up, right?
Manny,
Are
We're
you
talking
and I
hosting
wanted
this
to
live stream?
speak
black.
Is
to
this your live
people
stream,
saying,
Jazz? Is this your live stream? No, it's
is it
not.
yours?
So calm
Is it
oh my
down.
yours?
goodness, I
No,
Y'all
wanted to
will
I
speak
was
hurt.
to,
Y'all
invited up
mad.
here for a
Y'all be so
reason.
mad when
Okay, and I
black
was
people speak
invited up here too.
unapologetically, and it's gonna happen because I
Stop
don't
trying
care.
to report me,
Y'all can
Manny.
get mad.
I wanted to speak to people saying that what she's saying isn't a fact. Nobody said that we have stats to prove that this is what other mixed race women have said, but it is common that in other lives, mixed women, or even that one, I don't know if you guys have ever seen that TikTok of the mixed girl who's talking about why she doesn't talk to her white mother anymore. These aren't just facts that we're pulling out of nowhere. You can literally look it up. You can look up mixed girl why she doesn't talk to her mom on TikTok and it will come up.
I'm
Nobody
not
said that
looking
this
up
is,
for my
hold
information
on.
on TikTok. I'm sorry.
Okay,
And
that's fine.
again,
You don't
okay,
have
then
to.
you
I'm
just
No.
not
don't want
saying
to
you
learn.
need
So
to.
stay
But what
ignorant,
I'm
but don't
saying
be coming
is,
up here making
but what
somebody
I'm
seem like
saying,
they jealous.
but what I'm
Period.
saying
You
is,
said you're jealous, girl. No one
I
ever said
never
that
said
but
oh
that,
you.
baby.
my
I said I
God.
wasn't.
But you.
She
That shows
never,
you haven't been
you,
listening.
y'all are literally doing exactly what we talk about all the time.
She never
No, I'm
said that
not.
she was
Hey,
jealous.
hey,
Because y'all
Jazz,
said
Jazz,
something
did you
about
see the
us.
comment? Hey,
We're
Jazz,
saying
someone
something about
commented. Did you realize the host is dating a beautiful white woman? Someone commented and they
I'm
tagged you on
not
there,
worried about
Jazz.
his
we
relationship. What
haven't
his
did
relationship got to
anything
do
but
with
knock
me?
down y'all bullshit ass points. So if y'all think that that means we're jealous, then so be it.
Who said you're
You
And
are
then
the
jealous?
only
my
one that has
only
been talking
point,
about somebody being jealous this entire time.
Because have you not read the comments,
Exactly. Like
babe?
you want us to. You
Have
keep
you
No,
not
like
talking,
read
you,
the
but go ahead.
you
comments?
have like definitely
y'all are
Have
internalized
you
some
only
not read
type
the
of.
hyperfixating on
comments?
that
Like
one
your
thing she
No,
said,
you
insecurities are
but
haven't.
y'all made
showing.
other
Nowhere.
No,
points.
you
Your
Y'all
haven't.
insecurities are
y'all are
showing. I'm
only
Right.
sorry for offending
hyperfixating
Y'all
on
not
that
you.
y'all
one
not
point
about
that
y'all
she
not about
made.
to
Y'all are
I'm
y'all
only
not
sorry.
about
Have
to
you not
gang
read
up
the
hyperfixating
on
on
her.
that
comments?
Y'all not
one
No,
about to
you
point
gang up
that
haven't.
she
on her.
made.
Y'all not about
That
to
is
gang
the
up on
only
her.
point
Let
that
me
You
tell
every
you
are
that
trying
And
something.
to
you have
generalize
so
some
Let me
much
other
tell
people
you
that
Baby,
you
something.
have
you
The
no
only
haven't
thing
business
she
read the
is
with.
doing,
comments.
Chill out.
no, the only
You.
thing she is doing
Pee
is
pee pee.
protecting her people. And she's right. Nobody's
And I
jealous of
don't care
y'all.
how y'all
Now
feel.
maybe y'all came in
All right, so
across
you're not
an
jealous. Move
individual
on.
or
It's been
two.
45
exactly.
minutes
Who
already.
Read
How
cares? No
many
one
more
said
times
that.
do you
No
want
whoever
to
one
say
you
you're
did.
not
are.
jealous?
It's like Lexi's in her mouth
Re-
this whole time. Just let
anyway,
Lexi
okay,
go.
Manny,
She's
shut up.
been
anyways,
gone. She's been
anyways,
gone. Let's talk
Manny,
anyways,
shut
about
up.
anyways,
yo.
anyways,
Why
Hey,
is you
anyways.
host,
just
thank you so
ignorant with
much
a
for
whole
letting
bunch of
me up here,
females
brother,
talking,
and
bro?
sharing my voice here
Ugh.
with you guys. Much respect to the host for letting me up and sharing
Thank
my
you,
Black
voice
All
with
women
right,
you.
can't
bye,
even speak
Manny.
on their
Take
issues.
care of
Black women
yourself,
can't
man.
even
Thank you so
speak on
much, man.
other
Bye,
Appreciate
people
you.
Manny.
that speak on
And
them
just
without
hey,
being
Jazz,
seen as
just keep my
jealous.
name out
We
your mouth.
can't
Like
Bye,
speak on other
Manny.
I
people
don't
Bye,
think
without
about
being
I
Manny.
don't
seen
dream
as
about I
Bye,
don't
angry.
talk
We
Manny.
can't
about you.
speak on
Bye,
other
Stop.
Manny.
people in our
Bye,
Stop being
issues
Manny.
without
racist.
being seen
Bye,
as
bye,
Manny.
Manny.
aggressive.
Thank you
And
for
that's
coming
the
on,
problem
Manny.
because
Have
y'all
a
have
good
did
night.
nothing but make it seem like we have been this certain type of things to y'all. And we haven't, period.
Oh
You're not going to
And
God.
then
spread
my
Well,
any lies.
only
you
point,
never let
You're
me
not going to
finish
spread any lies about
anything,
black
so
women.
that's why
You're
you
not
we
going
haven't
to
just
heard
spread
it,
any
trying to,
lies
but
It
about
it's
seems
black
okay.
like
women.
I
like
just
maybe
wanted,
y'all
I just
You
wanted
don't
to
let
speak
anybody else
on the
Maybe
talk.
fact
y'all
care
that
how
came
y'all
across
feel.
Okay, I
You can
will say
speak.
black
this.
women
Nobody is
that
letting
was
Right. So you could
anyone.
just stay ignorant because you don't
no,
let
but
y'all
nobody
might
else
have
okay.
came
talk.
across
You can
people
speak. I don't care.
individually. Y'all
You
might have
choosing
came
not to
across
speak.
people individually that was jealous of y'all, but all black women not jealous of y'all. I can assure
We're
you
still
that.
talking about jealousy. We thought we
Yo,
moved on from
yo,
Can
that.
we? Yeah, can
Girl,
we
I don't
please
even
move
give a fuck
on
if you
from the
move
hey,
jealous.
jealousy
I'm
It
talking
doesn't
about
matter,
because
bro.
we've
what
been
y'all was
like
saying in the car.
talking about it for so much.
y'all
Exactly.
good? Y'all
Girl,
good?
if y'all don't want to talk about it, get off the panel.
And
Period.
then my
Y'all
only
good?
You
Y'all
guys
done
can get off the
yeah,
You
y'all
panel.
because
brought
my
up
you can
the
keep
y'all
talking
doing
about
it
how
to
you
panel
come
feel,
got
which is
y'all
how
brought up
you're
an
not
yeah,
jealous.
interpersonal
Fine.
shit. Y'all
I
doing
love
it to
it.
come
The
in here. Y'all
panel
brought
said
up
it's
an
open to
Like at
interpersonal
hands
relationships.
instead
If
of
you don't
just
like it, get
talking
off the
about
If you
the
panel.
can't handle the
same
smoke, get out.
Look,
I'm
You
not
get
doing
out.
it.
What are
listen,
you?
calm
we've been
down,
talking
bro.
about the
Weirdo.
same
Calm
thing. We should be
down.
Like,
going
what's wrong with
furthermore
y'all?
into the
Y'all weird as
topic.
shit.
Y'all calm
Right.
down, man. Y'all are attacking. Like,
No, we not. It's only two of us. It's how many of them? Four?
They was
I'm just trying to
attacking
make sure
her when I
y'all are
came
It's
in here.
four?
What are you talking
They
about?
don't
Wait,
know how to
there's
speak.
three.
They not
Am
grown
I not
women.
black? Hello.
How we attacking them? We're sticking
Let,
up for our people
Wait,
as we should, and I love that.
look, okay, that's good, okay? That's good.
Talking about attacking. Look,
We
here
just
come Mr. Savior. It's two.
Yeah.
It's two of us. It's two of us. It's four of them.
listen.
Why are you trying to divide us?
It's two of
Divided
The
us.
from
thing,
what?
It's
Because
Y'all
she,
four
was
of them
okay,
with
she
hold
has
on.
a
different
complex
opinions.
about not
Always
looking
trying to
jealous.
divide. Like,
With
they're
Wait,
different
talking.
wait,
It's
wait,
not
wait.
opinions.
about
Y'all,
girl.
these
division.
are
It's
the
about
people
a
who have
stance
so
on the
much
She
conversation,
self-hate,
trying to
bro.
bro.
You
get
gotta
advice. You
grow
don't
up.
even fall for her.
You
Don't even
gotta
fall for
grow
this
up.
shit.
I'm
wait,
It's
already
wait,
about the
knowing.
stance on the conversation. It has nothing to do about color.
okay,
Like what?
Asking a question about interracial relationships. It's just about
That's what I
interracial
was talking
relationships.
about.
Like when y'all came in here, all that what she was talking to Lexi about and all that, y'all dug right into it, y'all fed right into it. And then all the jealousy and stuff came. But because she was adamant and 10 toes down in defending how she felt, actually y'all put yourself in that conversation. She wasn't directing nothing at y'all. She was talking to Lexi.
Oh
But
God,
then
and we're
y'all
gonna
want to come
forever
in
talk
here.
about jealousy.
Exactly.
What?
Ghoulie, what are your
Why
thoughts
y'all
on
trying to make me feel
She's
away?
not jealous of Lexi. We can go on now.
Y'all
It's
brought it up.
fine.
So did the
Listen.
topic.
Actually, you brought it up on the subject.
Who? Who?
Apparently she can't
The
because she
comment
don't even
says
see the
jealous.
damn.
It's
She
been
don't
down the
even
feed the
see.
whole time.
She don't
But who
even see
brought it
what's
up in the
going
What
panel?
on.
With
Wait,
the
what are your
Lexi
thoughts
brought it
on
up in the panel.
No,
interracial
you did.
Lexi
relationships?
brought it up in the panel, and I told her that we
No,
weren't.
you did.
I heard
Period.
a lot of. I heard
And
my
she
name
chose to drop
called,
down
but
because she couldn't handle the smoke. So if you can't either, you can go.
You can go
I heard my
unacceptable.
name
I'm
being
not going
called, but
nowhere.
there's
Yeah,
so
And
many
I'm
people
not
hi.
either.
talk.
How
I was just
weird.
asking if
This
you
is
wanted
Ladies,
to
ladies,
answer
one at a
the
time,
question of the
please.
topic.
Damn. Like y'all ain't getting no point across. Y'all just sound like y'all just yapping the entire damn time. One at a time.
When the fuck did you get up here? Who is you?
Lord have mercy, bro. Damn. Come on, bro. Look. Just one at a time. I just want at least want to hear what everybody's point of view is, so I can actually get a general understanding here.
We're on a whole other subtopic. We not even on interracial couples no more. We on the kids that come after, I guess.
He's been in here since the beginning, so he's been listening to everybody.
Oh, he was in the comments.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was up here when I
Oh,
came
okay.
He
in.
was up here also, but I wonder what you got to say, Monique.
I was just saying that he was on the panel earlier as well.
Monique, do you have kids?
You can go look. I don't care, Lady Capulet. When you start showing your real face, that's when I'll start to care.
Monique,
Yes.
Monique said what she had to say. She said
do you have?
that
I'm
she's
asking her a
married
question.
to
Can
a
you
black
stop?
one.
Do you
Girl,
have
who the
kids?
fuck is you talking to?
Do you have kids, Monique?
Yes, I do.
Girl, who the fuck is
How
you
many?
talking to?
I have 3.
Oh, okay. How
Girl,
old are
you
they?
little big
I'm
forehead ass.
41.
You better next time you address me
Shut
with
the
some
fuck up, old
respect.
lady. Shut the fuck
You
up.
fuck old lady. Bitch, I'm probably younger than you. As
Yeah,
the
nah. Look
fuck?
at your face.
You look like a
Wrinkles.
fucking 10-year-old boy. That big ass forehead and that loose ass weave. Girl,
That
please.
we're not gonna
That's my
do
real
that.
hair. You jealous?
Girl.
Ugly.
Oh no, you
Ugly.
just
Jealous.
completely defeated your
Who is
Real
point.
hair.
ugly?
Here we go. The
No,
biracial
no,
hair
I
thing
no.
look better
again.
than
Y'all
you.
are proving my point.
How am I
You're
proving your
jealous of
point? She
my
said
hair.
weave.
I
That's
look
my
better
hair.
than
You're
Oh
you.
my
jealous of
god,
my
you
hair.
just made it worse,
You look
Bookie.
like
That's
a
the point I
10-year-old
was trying to
boy.
prove.
Don't worry, Nate. I'm not
Wow.
letting them get to me. They can
Wow,
keep
the
yapping.
biracial hair thing. Exactly.
Girl, big
The proof
forehead
is in the
ass.
pudding. So
Thank
if
you,
y'all
Lexi.
choose to
You're
be blind
beautiful
to
too,
that,
Lexi.
She
go
look
ahead
like
and
a
be Ray
fucking
Charles.
10-year-old
You
boy.
just completely like I was with y'all with the whole jealousy thing, but you just completely diminished your whole stance. I'm not gonna lie.
Exactly. It's my real hair. You're jealous? What?
Who said you're
Nobody
jealous?
said
What?
anything. Nobody even said any. No, bro, that was crazy.
No
You
said
just
Isabella, that
completely
was
no.
not
No one
it.
said
You did not
anything.
eat. You did not eat. You did not eat. That was horrible. And you just proved my point.
Oh, I didn't
Ladies
prove your
and
point at all.
gentlemen,
Yo,
ladies
y'all.
and gentlemen, if y'all did not just see that, y'all is crazy. She just said, "This is my real hair. Are you jealous?"
And
To
she called
another
it
black
weave.
woman. To a black woman. She
Oh
said you
yes,
look
to a
like a
black
boy because
woman.
of your
Fine.
forehead, not because of your hair.
No, she just said,
Yo.
"Oh, look at that hair. Look at
She
that
I
said
ugly
she
hair."
did
said,
say loose weave,
I said
Exactly.
your
I'm
but
hair
then
look
you
like
I
a
added
loose
the
said
"Are
head.
you jealous?"
No,
part, which is
I said your hair looked like a loose head weave. Whether it was hers or not, regardless of what it was, what it was.
look at Uncle
I
Manny in the
said,
comments. Uncle Manny,
Uncle
brother,
Manny
these
a
two
hater.
bad and
Uncle Manny,
unacceptable are sick and
Uncle
jealous.
Manny.
What are we
Let me tell
jealous
y'all
of?
about.
Y'all
How
been coming for
Uncle
us.
Manny. No,
And we just
unacceptable.
been getting
Let
y'all
me
out
tell
of
you
here.
how
Like, what do
Uncle
you
Manny
mean?
had a whole live
Y'all
where
mad
Thank
he
you,
because
was
we not
everyone.
finna
auctioning
sit
black
here and
people
cry?
off on his live. Manny was auctioning black people off on his live. People that didn't even know that he was putting their pictures up on his live, auctioning them off on his live for $3. That's what he was doing. Uncle Manny is racist as shit. And he goes gaslighting black people and starting shit with black people all the time.
Lady Capulet, go look at unacceptable hair. Sir, I have locks and I'm proud of my natural hair and how it grows out of my head. So you can go look at them. I don't care.
Girl, they
I love my hair.
I
So
love
what
my
was your
hair
point?
too. I love that I can wear braids, dreads. I can wear bush balls. I can wear afros. I love my hair because
What
I
was your
don't have
point?
to do. I don't have to do all this extra shit to my hair to make it look like my hair. All I got to do is take it out and comb it.
I found it funny that you can't even post your real self. So it's how can you type? How can you talk about somebody who put themselves out there and you don't even have one post?
I'm trying to figure out though, like, how do
I'm
y'all
confused.
let those type of comments get to y'all though, to push
But
y'all to
when
the
you
point
see
where
it,
y'all get this
when
I
you
mad?
see
think
it
everybody should
consistently,
love themselves for who they are.
when you see it consistently, it starts to. I'm getting upset because I'm going to say something back. I'm
I
not going
mean,
to just ignore it while people just keep talking about me. I don't care.
but that's the thing though. You feeding into it, so you actually giving them exactly what they want.
And yeah, I'm gonna get them what they want, exactly what they want, if not more, because you're gonna leave here crying. If not, if anything, like don't talk about me because I ain't even said half of what I think.
Exactly. It is clear.
I
Like
ain't say
so
half of what
angry
I
for no
think either
reason.
because
I'm
if
not
I say
angry. I'm not
half of
angry at
what I
all.
think,
But
TikTok
I
gonna
am gonna match
Okay,
energy.
let's get back to the
I am gonna match
interracial
energy. I'm
couples.
not angry. I started off on this panel calm until everybody started to say they little racist, passive aggressive things they wanted to say. Now I'm matching energy.
Okay, I think it's angry.
Okay,
Let's get back on the
it doesn't matter.
No, I
You're
just
gonna
think
think
y'all
I'm angry
gaslighting
anyway.
her.
If I was
I think
anything
y'all
other than
gaslighting the shit
happy,
out of her.
if I was anything other than calm on this app, again, you would have thought I was angry or aggressive.
No, it's just you came in shouting.
No, I didn't.
You
I
don't.
I
actually
think
came in
Yeah.
calm.
that's just the way she talks, but that's okay. I mean, you have a calm voice. I have a calm voice. Her voice isn't like that. I don't think that makes her automatically angry.
They
I
gonna
haven't
think
heard
it
her
anyway.
cuss
I'm a black
nobody out
woman,
yet.
baby. I know how this go.
let's try to go ahead and get back to the
Y'all
topic.
trying to be real cute. Y'all trying to be real cute with these little Martin Luther King
I agree.
statements.
Let's try and go
But I
back
know
to
how
the
it
topic.
goes. I know how it goes in real
Yeah.
life.
Let's try to get back to the topic now. Like, don't let it stray. Don't let it push you that much, man. If you're not mad, just
But
It
they
seemed
they
like
shouldn't be
everybody wasn't up
gaslighting her
here talking
either. Like
over each other.
if
Like,
they respect the conversation, then have a conversation. Don't be here gaslighting people talk about some jealousy. Girl, please.
ignore them comments. It's trolls in there. They just talking shit. Let them talk shit.
Yeah, but I
Whose
mean, come
time,
on
Lady
now.
Capulet? Like I'm really trying to bite my
oh my
tongue.
god.
Girl, if I
That's
want
what
to
I'm
go
You tell
against
me
doing.
I got 30 to get Gooly out. I
Y'all
ain't worried
think I'm
about him.
crazy now? Y'all think I'm doing too much now? I'm not saying half of what I think. So I think you should keep it cute.
girl, I ain't saying half of what I think either because I don't want to get banned again. But if I really could say what I think, and I really wish I could have these conversations with people face to face so I could smack the shit out of
Exactly.
some of
They
these
would
people.
not have the same energy. You wouldn't. You
They
wouldn't.
definitely wouldn't have the same energy.
Oh,
Anyways,
And even if you do have the same energy, you wouldn't even be able to get it out with me because I would slide your ass from door to door.
I ain't gonna touch you,
it's
baby. I ain't
I
gotta
got
touch
you.
you.
Shit,
You
I
gonna
slide
leave.
to
You
you.
gonna leave. You gonna leave hating me. I'm telling you. I don't have
You
to touch
gonna
you.
fuck
My
with me.
words.
You gonna
My
leave in
words are
the
going to eat
ambulance.
at you.
You gonna
But
leave in a
again,
motherfucking ambulance. You come at me talking about some black people jealous of you or something like that. I'ma slide your ass.
Gooly Creeper, you want to get back to the topic, right?
Yeah, honestly, I
I
do.
ain't doing
Okay.
no tussling. I ain't doing no tussling.
Me too.
I mean, I mean, in general though, I do love interracial couples because you get to hear about different experiences that they have and what they learn from it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I think it's generally a good thing that people go outside of their culture just to learn different things, man.
Mhm. I agree.
And for the for the topic, like I don't have no problem with interracial and racial relationships at all. Now, what I do have a problem with is interracial relationships where you're trying to force the person to take on your culture. I feel like if you in a interracial relationship, then you should respect that that person got a culture like you got a culture. And y'all can share and expand on that. But as far as interracial relationships, I don't have no problem with it at all.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, Jazz. Like my husband doesn't, after us being together for almost 18 years, he still doesn't understand the concept of Dia de los Muertos. And there's no point in even trying to tell him what it is. I do my thing, he does his.
I didn't have much of a problem with my partner not wanting to learn my culture. I had more of a problem with his family being very I guess bigoted.
In a way, I deal with that. I dealt with that like with my woman's mom, but like eventually, like, she just started to warm up to him because she wanted to protect her daughter and stuff like that. Generally, in Japan, like, you don't barely
Did
you
you say
barely
she want to protect her daughter or your daughter?
her daughter.
Okay, from you or from what? I don't understand.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because I'm the first black guy that she ever been with. You know what I'm saying? So in Japan, there is like not you don't see barely any black people. You know what I'm saying? So like when you're going down the street and stuff like that, they look at you and they like they're low key stare at you because they not used to seeing black people.
Yeah.
You know
But
what I'm
that
saying?
don't mean they racist though. They just
Exactly. Right. You know what I'm saying? But it was just different because, you know what I'm saying, when I came into the picture and her mom didn't know me very much, you know what I'm saying? And it was a language barrier. I kind of had to learn Japanese in order to, get to speak with them better, which I did. It's
Well, what
hard
was
as
she
hell though.
trying to protect her daughter
I
from?
will say this. When you
No,
were
I
mentioning
just want to
about
ask Goolie a question.
okay,
Goolie, what was she trying to protect her daughter from? Like even if she didn't know you, okay, I understand that, but why did she feel the need that she had to protect her daughter? Like,
Well, just think about it from a parent's perspective. She don't, you know what I'm saying? She don't know basically because I'm the first black person that she had, right? Not saying that it's just because I'm black or anything like that.
not saying that it's just because I'm black or anything like that. I think you're lagging. I think somebody might be lagging,
I
possibly.
think that was Isabella.
Oh,
She
okay.
put herself on mute though.
I think that was Isabella. Okay, I think it might be.
Yes.
Isabella, I would leave and join back.
Or just swipe out of the app and then come back. You don't
Leave
have to
and
wait.
Oh, yeah,
join
you
back.
can pull your
Okay.
Or
screen
just swipe
down.
out of the app and then come back.
Sometimes that happens to me. I have an older phone, so it does that to me sometimes too.
Isabella, if you do need to drop down, I'll bring you back up.
Is it better now?
Yeah, you
Oh,
good
Yeah,
now.
Yeah,
it's
it's much
good
better.
now.
Okay, thank you.
But yeah, I would say like it's a natural thing that a parent would do. Like, so when a father meets a guy that his daughter dating and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? That type of thing.
Okay.
Yeah. It wasn't like when I met her and stuff like that, she was on a whole defensive about like da. It was more like, like, hey, what is your boyfriend like? And she was asking a bunch of questions and stuff.
Do you feel like she felt the need that she felt like she really had to protect her because you was black and she didn't know much about your culture?
Well, I didn't look at it that way.
real quick, why does bro hate you right now? What
I
the?
was about to say, who's
I
I
don't
got
know why
you?
I got your hate me. He just hanging off my nuts right now.
Golly.
Like he is on my dingling. Like, bro, get out of here.
$15, $20, $25. Yeah, he went all the way up to 50, bro.
Bro, he trying to pay you. He's like,
Julie,
I'll pay you
Like, damn.
unacceptable if you get him out of here.
wait,
Shit.
I think crazy had something to say before.
Thank you. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt
Nah,
anybody.
you good.
Okay, thank you. I heard you mention before about like learning Japanese. I know you weren't I've been on the live for about like I want to say like an hour now. Or earlier when I had joined the live when you had mentioned like before like learning like Japanese, I was in a relationship this year where I'm not very good at it. But I was in a relationship with a an Islamic, and I did learn Arabic to try and talk, like be able to
Well,
communicate with
Islamic
his
is not a
family.
race. So where was he from?
No,
Like, was he
I was
Middle
just
Eastern
I
or?
was saying because I was mentioning before, like I was explaining earlier, and how like I was in an inter-religion relationship, and his family like they mainly speak like Arabic, and his family, the majority of them speak like very good English. Just his mom did not speak the greatest of English, so I learned Arabic over time to be able. I'm not very good at it now because we're not together anymore. But I did like learn it and study it to be able to talk to her. But I
I cannot remember who brought up the point. I apologize, but I do want to mention about culture and stuff. It's you don't necessarily have to be a part of their culture. I think it's just more of learning about it for your own like future, like with like we're talking about like interracial relationships, right? And two people who are different races together with one another, it's not necessarily like being a part of the culture, like now you're with me, you have to do everything I do. No, it's about like having that piece of you with them, like learning about it, because say like you do have kids one day, like if I've been in interracial relationships, and if I marry someone who is of a separate race from me, I would want them to have aspects of both cultures, of my culture and of my husband or wife's culture. I think that's very important that both cultures are involved in that. I don't think one should be less than the other. I think it should be equally balanced.
I agree 100% with you on
All
that.
right. So we just got a new person in here,
I
Cosmic
don't
Clover.
think it should be.
Hello.
What do
I
you
don't
think,
think.
Cosmic?
How
How
are
do you
you?
how you doing?
I'm good. I do have an opinion on this actually. Um, I don't think it's necessarily bad until you then have offspring.
Excuse me?
And I say this because I feel like it's detrimental to the black race.
No, wait, I didn't hear the first thing you said. What did you say the first time?
Well, initially, I think I don't 100% disagree with interracial dating, but once you have offspring, that's where it becomes detrimental to our race, black race.
Can I explain?
Why is that?
Elaborate, so they can know what you mean.
Okay,
'Cause
well,
they
what I
gonna blow
mean
it
by
out of
that
proportion.
is once you have offspring, your blood is then diluted. So when your children then have offspring, should they choose to date outside of their race, their blood will then be diluted. And essentially, you're then erasing your true lineage, which initially started out black. That would then affect any other black race potentially being born into the world. It affects whether or not we have a future if we continue to dilute it.
If you don't mind me asking, I just want to get a better understanding of your point. Are you saying that, like, if a black person and a white person have a child and they are biracial, you feel like they're losing a part of, like, a DNA? Is that what you're saying? Like, over time?
What's that?
Yeah, that's what she said.
Yes, because honestly, there's really no way around that.
You got
If
some
you
piece?
if you mix a race, you then become biracial. You're then carrying two different genetics or two different genetic race, I guess. And if my, like, for instance, I say this because I have two biracial children and I love my kids, but I realize that I have affected what my lineage is going to be. My family members, almost everyone on my father's side and my mother's side, as far as their siblings go, their offspring have all had interracial children. So once my mother's and my father's side, all of their brothers and sisters finally pass, we're the generation that's left. And their generation, our generation's offspring, have all been diluted. So they are never going to know that we started out black if their children consistently date outside of their race and have offspring. Who we are will be wiped out.
But that's why you keep pictures of the family tree and all that. You take
Yeah, I don't think it will be wiped out necessarily.
Yeah, that's why it's important to, like, again, like, teach them about your culture and
Yeah.
understand the culture.
Well,
The
it's not
more
essentially the
people that mess
culture.
with black people,
The more black people that mix with other races and have offspring is going to be more people in the next generation that are not monoracially black. And that's what she's trying to say. Soon, if every black person keeps mixing with people, our race is going to be mixed out. And that's just basic biology. Have y'all ever seen a Punnett square?
I'm not gonna lie, I did not do very good in my biology class.
No.
But essentially, she's basically saying what it is that I'm saying. Um, if you start out black and then you continue to mix with another race, regardless of what race that is, your offspring is no longer what you are. They're mixed with something, and if they continue to mix, you're erasing out what you started out, and that is detrimental to the black race because we are not just the black race anymore.
But they might not keep mixing though.
We still put ourselves at risk because we have no idea. I have no idea if
But so when
if
you're
my
saying
kid,
as a
I have
risk, so you're saying
situations.
that if
I have
your child has no
situations.
black in them, that they're like not as good.
Again,
No. I'm just saying that our lineage, my generation of like, of course.
she said, if black people continue to mix with everybody, again, do what you want. If you love them, whatever. But if you continue to mix outside of your race, our
That's sad.
there will be no more monoracially black people. And then if your children, if your offspring mix with white people, they will no longer even be black. And that's bad for our community.
And then to the
I
other
don't,
point,
I don't want to take it that deep. I don't want to take it that deep now. Like you don't
It
know what
goes
the
that
future.
deep.
Look, people
It
know.
goes that deep.
No, that's the
That's
thing.
not
You don't know what
racist. It's not racist at all. That's just literally biology.
hear me out. You don't know what the future holds, right? You don't know what the future holds. It's not up to you to dictate that course of action. If you want to do that, then you would actually like make steps into making that a fruition. Like, okay, let me go ahead and start a panel real quick. Let me go ahead and raise black awareness real quick. You know what I'm saying? You would make steps into doing that. I'm not saying that what you're saying is wrong. I'm not saying that. I understand exactly what y'all mean. You know what I'm saying? It's just the way I look at it is that if I'm gonna have, I wanna, my lineage is with the woman that I trust. That's my lineage. You know what I'm
No.
saying? I don't care if they're not just black or anything. The woman who I chose to have children with, the woman that I chose to procreate with, that's my lineage right there. I don't
Mm-hmm.
care. I don't care what race she is or anything.
But here's the
Yes.
thing that everyone's seeming to not realize, and I don't mean to step on any toes when I say this, but all race started with us. We have the black woman has every genetic possibility within us. If we take that and wipe it out, our race no longer exists. We don't exist, but we were the start of it all.
I don't think it would ever get to that point though.
That's
It
what I'm
would,
saying.
it could,
definitely
and that's
will
the
though.
thing.
That's simple genetics.
Based
There's
on the rate
plenty of
that we're
black people
going
who
now,
date
based on the
marry
rate
black
that we're
people.
going now, it could possibly happen. And again, even scientists know this. And I with what whoever
Yeah,
the
but
green dude is, with that
that's like
whoever
a
the
one
green
in a
dude is,
million.
I get that I understand
having personal experiences with people. But again, all I'm saying is you can find a person that you trust in a black woman, especially because she can understand you as who you are as a person. She can relate to you and understand the way you experience this world. So if you go outside of a black woman looking for that, again, there are going to be ways in which that woman does not understand you, and black women can understand that.
What about other minorities?
It's the same scenario.
I agree with you
Talking on
there.
her experience, on
Let
her
him
beliefs,
speak,
it goes
please. Let him
around.
speak. Let him speak, please.
Like I understand what you mean by that, because you know what I'm saying, black women, they go through the same amount of struggles that we as black men do, but they go through different struggles as well. But you know what I'm saying, like I mean, I've been with this woman for 8 years now. You know what I'm saying? I mean, don't get me wrong. If I would have ran into a black woman who you know what I'm saying, who understood me during that time frame, hey, I would have been with a black woman. But hey, you know what I'm saying? My woman Yuki, she was just like, oh yeah, you with me. Look, this is how I'm rolling. And I was like, hey, you know what? Hey man, I can't keep waiting on my life. You know what I'm saying?
Are you married?
Yeah.
I was going to say, dang, you can still look.
Well, I
Yeah.
wouldn't. But why do that to her though? That's messed up.
No, that's why I asked you if you were married. Now you can't. But I said if you weren't married, you can still look.
Yeah, I
But you
mean,
could
there's
just
always that
couple over somebody
possibility.
just because of lineage, though. You
Who
know?
in the chat just said teach your kids to date black? I don't think you should teach your kids to date any specific race.
Right. That's the way.
And and
Yeah, that's really weird.
and to touch base on what you were saying
because
before
How is
in
that weird?
regards to in regards to how do you know what your child is going to date? You don't know. But my kid's 7. He's just discovered that he thinks girls. Now his specific words were to me is I like blonde girls. I like girls with blonde hair. Now, I am fully aware that black women can have blonde hair and so can black men. But with that being, I'm going to assume, since I live in Washington, I live in Washington State, I'm going to
Yeah.
assume that he is speaking about a Caucasian woman, a Caucasian girl, and he is in a predominantly native school, and he has a mixture of some Caucasian and maybe a few black. So I know that he's speaking of a Caucasian girl. I cannot. I put him in this position. He is mixed, so he can't just say I'm this, I'm that. Regardless, I do believe society is always going to see him as a black man, no
Yeah,
matter what.
definitely.
If he chooses to grow up and date a Caucasian woman or someone outside of his race, they're still going to look at him like a black man, but essentially he is not. So if he chooses to date her or any girl in life later on in the future that's outside of his race, I have no choice but to accept it. Will I instill him to love black women and every day and to appreciate them? Yes, this is the reason why I moved the way I moved. And this is the reason why I've chose to no longer have any more offspring unless I am married to a black man and then have offspring with him. Because this essentially is going to save my lineage. Um, my son's brother or sister would then be black. And then there would be some proof that we started out black. But if I don't ever get married and I never have any other offspring, it stops with me. It stops with me.
Also,
Once I'm gone, it's
I want to clarify, like, y'all don't understand the European beauty standard that is forced upon children and adolescents, because in this world, I don't know, y'all don't experience it, so y'all don't know, but black women, we don't get treated as good as anybody with Eurocentric features, or lighter skin, because again, this world has a European beauty standard, and I can understand why little boys, specifically black boys, grow up to like white women, because if you look at the TV shows, look who they have on TV majority of the time: white women or lighter skinned women. Zendaya, what's that white girl name who played on Liv and Maddie?
Dove
um
Cameron.
Dove Cameron, all those, every Disney Channel show you can think of, the main characters were majority white, and those channels are typically what children watch. So imagine growing up as a little boy, all you see on TV is white girls and lighter skinned girls, but then you are in real life and you see darker skinned girls, and you see all these different types of women with big curly hair, and you never really grew up on that, or you just don't get conditioned to see us as beautiful the way you see those women. And I think that is important to understand that type of programming as well. Like, they get programmed from birth. They get programmed since they're little adolescent boys growing up to see white women as beautiful, to see European and fair skinned women as beautiful, but darker skinned women and black women who have the features, we don't get that same type of like um luxury to where they paint us as beautiful. Do that make any sense?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes
I
perfect sense.
understand what you're saying 100%. And I will say this as someone who is a white European myself. I definitely did notice that. Like, I definitely did notice that growing up. And it's and I'm very lucky at a young age, I had realized the problem. For me in the future, I want kids. It does, like, for me it doesn't matter who I'm with, as long as they love me, I love them. It's a 50-50 relationship. They help me, I help them. For me, the way I want to raise my kids is showing them, not like showing them what they should look for in a person. Look, I've had good relationships, I've had bad relationships. And based on those experiences, I want to teach to my kid what is good and what is bad. Things like I want my kid to look for like personality. Would they see themselves with this person in, say, 5-10 years, or even
Yeah.
the rest of their lives? I would want them to think about like the future aspects. The reason that and I am sorry I'm bringing this relationship up so much, but the biggest reason that the relationship I was in this summer, we didn't work out because the religion had just gotten in the way, and we both had accepted that in 5-10 years from now, it just wasn't going to work. And I want to teach my child that it's okay to recognize when things aren't going to work. That's the most important thing. I want to teach them that they can love whoever they want to love. And I want to be with someone who would support that.
And can I touch on what you were saying as well right now?
Yeah, of course.
Like the idea of someone in the comments was like, "Oh, encourage your children to date black women," and how Cosmic Clover was saying, to like save the DNA or whatever it was you were saying. I understand what you were saying. So, like, but at the same time, I just really would want to like have love and to just teach my children to love. You can love and there's beautiful, amazing people within every race, every culture, every religion, like every aspect. And I think pushing that it's like, okay, but what if then you end up a single mother? Okay, like you have a fully black kid, but at what cost? You're now single, you're all alone. So I don't always think it should force about the race. Like, there's great people. Just focus on finding somebody who's going to be there for you, love you, nurture you, want to build something with you. And that someone might be Asian, that someone might be white, that someone might be black, might be the same race as you, it might be the opposite race as you. It does not matter. Like, the whole point of having children is to make them with the person you love, not this person who's the same race as you.
But the
I
thing
was
of
gonna
it
touch
is,
on this fact really quick, that I feel like that I completely understand what both of you are saying, but I feel like we should encourage black children to, one, it starts with it, I mean, most of the time, not all the time, do people or black men or black women end up disliking or staying or steering away from other black people or black spouses is because of self-hatred. And usually that self-hatred isn't started at home or like anything like
facts.
that, but a lot of it is started from the environment outside, especially in schools, or just even just like a little thing that you went through and it sticks with you for the rest of your life. So yes, I do feel like black children should be taught that especially when you have an experience where you are traumatized from it and you kind of look at yourself a little bit differently because you're starting to realize like, oh my gosh, my skin, like it's not the same as theirs, or I don't go through the same thing as somebody else. I feel like that, yes, you should be teaching your children to love being Black and loving Black people. It has nothing to do with who they end up being with, but it does have a lot to do with them not perpetrating these same ideas and colorism and stuff for that to continue to go on.
I
Because
Agree.
I agree with you 100%. I think like in any aspect you should teach your child to I will admit, like, again, as a white woman, when I was younger, I did ask my mom like questions like, oh, why do they look different from me? Well, we're not like the same. And this is when like the parenting comes in and like teaching your child to understand that we're all the same, that we can love who we want to love. And I understand what you're saying. And again, that's when the parent aspect comes in, and it's so important to teach your child that loving anyone, whether it's white, Black, Hispanic, Asian, anybody, doesn't matter. Teaching that
I
child.
just wanna
Wait. Hold on.
point
I'm sorry.
out.
Real quick, and I'll let you go. I'm sorry. Lexi
Okay.
said if a white person said that, they'd be called a white supremacist. White people are not taught in society that their skin color makes them uglier or less than another person. So therefore, if a white person was to say that, yes, it would be white supremacy. But I mean, if a white person tells their children that they want them to date white, I'm not mad at that. That's their prerogative. I don't care. But the only difference is that as a Black person, I am not seen as, especially as a Black woman, I am not seen as beautiful or even close to the European beauty standards. So for you to say that is crazy.
I want to piggyback off of that. I think that for the Black mothers in this live or panel, I think it's important to have your sons see darker skin or visibly Black women growing up. Like these shows, like I said, will put out the programming of white Eurocentric beauty, and that's all they see growing up. So you need to have them watching TV shows or going to places where they will see Black people, Black children, people that look like them, so they're not so unfamiliar with that. And it'll usually have them like themselves a little more, because when you're outside of an area of which you look like, again, you have to face things like you being treated different because of your skin color, or because of how your hair looks, or because how you talk, and then they start to treat you differently. And I noticed that, like, even when I was growing up in school, like even if a Black boy decided to have a Black girlfriend, his friends would probably like pick on him and tell him that his girlfriend wasn't really cute and that he should date like a lighter skinned girl that they all thought was attractive. So again, that does happen in school, like the programming of like which type of girls you should date and all of that stuff. So I think it's important to raise your sons with strong mindsets and self-love, to know that, hey, I love myself, I love my Blackness, and I love, Black women, and it's okay to be like that, whether, people tell me that light skin or white girls are more attractive. I know that Black women are beautiful. So raise them with strong mindsets, so they can't be infiltrated, so they can't be persuaded so easily to dislike Black women, because I think that's what it is. They don't, a lot of them don't really have a strong mindset for their people.
Yes,
Can I
I
just
do
touch?
agree
Hey,
with
so
that.
I need to jump in and say some stuff only because I'm on a lunch break. I'm at work, working night shift in the middle of the night. I would love to say a few little things, maybe 5 minutes, if you guys would let me. As somebody who is, by the definition that y'all are saying, Black and Black and white. I'm actually part Norwegian. I'm a third generation Norwegian descendant, so I know what kind of white I am. At one point, Unacceptable had said, but you won't say nothing to the white people, but you guys always say something to Black people, which it might be true for others, right? Definitely not for this one here. Because whenever I meet I'll be like, oh, what are you? People say white. I'd be like, what are you? Where'd you come from? Tennessee? No, you didn't. Where'd your people come from? Right? I check them all the time, left and right. I personally do not deny the fact that my mother is who my mother is. And there was a long time, for years, I had my own battles with the whole being biracial, because Black people, one of my cousins used to always call me the white cousin. Always. Introduce me to her new girlfriends. Oh, that's the white cousin. That's the white cousin. I'm so loud because I'm in the car. Okay. I'm the white cousin on that side, on my Mom's side, the white side, my grandma and grandpa used to, or my grandmother used to always treat us differently than her other grandkids. Always. Matter of fact, my grandparents didn't go to the wedding because my dad was black. My parents got together in the 70s, married in 1980, and my mother was on his right side, literally, when he took his last breath and died of cancer, right? Not everybody has the same experiences. When I say my mom is different, I can actually say that, but I also took a class called Culturally Relevant and Anti-Bias Approach to Working with Young Children. That class was taught by a black teacher and a white teacher. We used to separate out into people of color and white people, because white people can talk more openly about white stuff than they can around other people of color. And we separated into people of color because if you're not white, you're colored, right? So we separated, and there was this mixed somebody who reminded me of this Lexi character that, oh child, when I say this girl's comments was pissing me off. In Cosmic Clover, I got something to say to you too for just 2 minutes. The fact of the matter is, when us mixed children are with our white parent, even though my parents were together, married all their, until he passed, we'd go over to like Bellevue. I'm from Washington too, Clover. So the east side, where mostly the white people are, it was the closer mall for us to get to, right? So we would go over there. And if my dad was not with us, my mother used to get treated like crap for having these little black kids around, right? And nobody understood that. And so this lady in this class, she was mixed. She said, my mother never takes any of her white privilege. And I had to check her. I said, how do you know that? Well, because every time I'm with her, X, Y, and Z would happen. I said, well, honey, that's the reason she didn't get no access to that white privilege is because you were the proof that she went outside her race, right? So right there, you mess it up. Now, to the Clover, Lord Jesus. Ooh, I understand that you really have you have a disdainment to your own flesh and blood because you chose to create him with somebody outside of the race that you apparently think you should create them with, right? Which is going to be detrimental to him as he grows up because he's going to feel the hatred that you have off of him. Just like they were talking about the white mamas who have these, the biracial babies, and they don't be nowhere around nobody of color. Right? Not a single black person to bring their black child around, right? So they have this disdainment. Well, you are definitely going to perpetrate that onto your child, especially if you are actively going to search just for somebody to be black so that your other kids can be full black. Which, again, I have to say this too. Unless you are from Africa, unless you came from Kenya, Ethiopia, do you understand what I'm saying? All of us Black people who are slave descendants are mixed. We're all mixed. And it's messed up. True. But we all are. So once we came to this country, once we were taken from our homeland and they did what they willed with our ancestors, unfortunately washed us all a little bit. That's what happened. Now, if you're going to sit there and say, I'm only going to get with this person because of X, Y, and Z, if you're black, you're prejudiced. Okay, yeah, because unacceptable. You are so right. Learned that in my class as well. And the white teacher had to tell the white people that because they were so quick to be like, "Oh, we can't. You're racist too." The fact is, if we don't have the backing of the power, the education, and the system, then we can just be prejudiced. My opinion can be messed up. You know what I'm saying? It can be, but that's just a simple fact. But if you are going to sit there and say that your DNA is going to get washed away, then you don't understand the concept of what DNA is. The dominant gene, which is black gene, that Eve gene, is the dominant gene. That's exactly why pro-lifers came up with a vengeance in the 60s and the 70s because they were noticing that the white race was going to be washed away in America. And guess who was getting the most abortions back in the day? White women. Not the black people, not Mexicans, not Asians, but white women. And the white people was like, oh no, our race is going to get destroyed because once you mix with the dominant gene to a recessive gene, that just the science tells you the dominant gene is going to shine through. So no matter how much mixing you do, that dominant gene is still going to shine through. So that whole theory, and then you're from Washington too, that makes me mad. Ugh. We are called the Northwest Special. Your son and I are called what? I've heard it from many people who ain't from the Northwest or from the South, from other places. Oh, they're like, what are you? I'd be like, I'm mixed, black and white. Oh, that's the Northwest Special. Because there's so many white people up here and there's so many races up here, period.
Okay. First off, to address what you were saying,
Yeah, Clover.
with that being said, I am actually originally from North Carolina, born
Figures.
and raised, and
Figures.
I just moved to Washington. And with that
Figures.
being said, I don't, I'm not entirely sure how you came to the conclusion that I am disagreeing with my own race.
SWAT.
My choosing to save my race is my proof that I love and care for my race. Because I made a mistake does not mean that I continue to do the same thing that is detrimental to our race. That just simply means that I made a mistake, I'm learning from it, and choosing
You're
to choose
calling your
different.
child a mistake. Do you not hear that?
Yeah, it sounds
I'm
like
not
you're calling
I'm
children
not
a
saying
mistake.
that
Call
my
was a
child
mistake.
is a
She's
mistake.
acknowledging
What
the
I'm
fact
saying
that her race will be. She's a contributing factor to
To the spreading of the black race, you mean? Because I guess you guys
no,
didn't listen. The dominant gene, which
no
is the black gene
no no
that
no no
he
no 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 no
no,
ran.
no no
no,
no no
no,
no.
no,
Can you mute
no.
yourself?
I'm listening.
Yeah, because it's her turn to talk, and I can't hear over your shuffling.
Okay. Well, with that being said, if you're diluting your race, you're diluting your race. There is absolutely no way around that. Once you mix, you are no longer one color. Okay. Now, when you look at when you look, let's just say dark skin, melanated skin. Melanated is different from any other skin out there. You can tell when someone has melanin in their skin and when someone doesn't. When you start diluting that, it gets diluted. Now, if my child chooses to have a child after getting married with someone outside of his race, someone who is lighter or Caucasian out of a different race, he is then mixing his race with several different races. Who he comes from is not he is not he is a reflection of me, of course. He is going to be a part of me no matter what. But his generation and their generation and their generation, if the pattern continues on, the dominant black gene will then be washed away.
It will
Exactly, and
never
I,
be
I want to
washed
say
away.
I want to say this because
Haven't you seen them white
whether
people who
black
pop up
women
with
hold
kids
on,
who are
whether
dark
black
and they don't
women
know
have the
why?
dominant gene or not, whether black women have the dominant gene or not,
Gene, yeah.
once you mix with somebody of a different race,
So then,
biology says that you take DNA from each parent, period.
yeah.
So if I'm mixing with a white person, that means my child has DNA from the white person and DNA from the black person. If that biracial child decides to have a baby with a white person, that baby is going to have DNA from the biracial parent and the white parent, therefore mixing out the black genetics. That's what's happening. I don't care if you keep saying that we have the Eve gene. We
I know you
do.
don't care,
If
honey. You
we
don't like the
continue
facts.
to
I know. I've been
if,
listening to you
if
for a
we
long time.
continue to mix out if we continue to mix out the black genetics of our children, our
You're,
race will be washed away, which is what she
you're,
is saying.
but
Y'all
you're,
are so emotional. And
no,
I
honey,
see
you're
y'all in the
emotional.
comments talking about where you're saying your kid is a mistake. No, I'm sure she loves her kids. She's not saying that her kids are a mistake. She's just acknowledging the fact that, again, you will be mixing out the black genetics if she continues to have offspring with somebody of a different
So
race.
the black genetics are already mixed. All of us who have slave descendants, every last one of us,
That's not
every
by
last
choice,
one.
baby.
You too.
She has a
You
choice.
too.
For the
You
slave
too.
descendants, we are only mixed with other races because our people were sold and bought and SA'd
Yes,
until they
that's
could
true.
not have X
That's
anymore. That's
true.
the only reason we are
So then
mixed
you
with
got to
other
get the
people.
whole.
We had
They're full
offspring
black out
we
your
had
mindset.
offspring against our will for them to have slaves or however they decided to breed them people. That's the only reason we are
I
um
know she's getting
that's
triggered
the
again.
only
I can
reason
hear
we
it.
are mixed. That's not because we did it by choice. The people now in modern times are mixing by choice. That's the difference. So I hate when people bring up the fact that slaves have different DNA in their blood. It was
Well,
only through
but
sexual
then you can
assault.
also just go straight to Ethiopia, straight to you can go to any of the countries in Africa and find a true African DNA, and then start really mixing out all that extra that's in all of us black people. That's how you do it. Not by finding by y'all's logic, not by finding another just a black man, you need to go back to, you need to, well, you don't have to go home. They over here too. You need to find somebody from there.
You're not
That's
saying
how
nothing.
you're going
You're not
to,
saying nothing
that's
at
how
all.
you're
What
going
is
to
your point?
reverse this genetic mix up that you're speaking of. That's the only way to reverse it.
That's not a point. Like you
What?
not making any
So
point.
let's
Okay.
just go by your
Okay.
logic. Let's
Okay.
just go by your logic. If you're saying that we're mixed with everything, then why is it that when they look at our melanated skin, they can't see us in them?
Do you know why? You want to know why? And here, this is something that I learned in my sociology class. This is why black people, black Americans, slave descendants are looked down upon the worst out of every race in the world. It doesn't matter what country we go to. That's why people who from Africa look at us real funny and off, because in the world, Cops. You remember that old show, the old reality show? Cops is all over the world. And 90% of the people that you saw in Cops, especially back in the late 80s and the 90s, was black people. So if people all over the world are getting this American TV show that's called Cops, and all they ever see are black people being the perpetrator, right? They're going to have this disdainment towards black people, slave descendants, no matter what. No matter what. That's why some Africans won't mess with them.
It's propaganda. It's propaganda.
I'm gonna
And you
keep,
know what?
Yeah, it is. It definitely
You know
is.
what? You know
It
what?
I'm gonna,
definitely
Let me
is.
tell y'all. Let me
It's
tell
still
y'all
because
exactly how. Let
who
me tell y'all
controls the media,
exactly how
which
they
is them.
play black people against each other. Let me tell y'all exactly how they play black people against each other. Okay, so for the immigrants, the black immigrants that come over here, whether it's through a visa, through school, through work, or whatever, however they get over here, did y'all know that they have somebody who picks specifically what type of person they bring over into the states? Meaning, they have to be from a specific social class. They have to be from they have to make a specific type of money. They have to be from a specific, everything is chosen for a reason. So they don't bring regular Africans over here. They don't bring regular Haitians over here. They bring people that are already contributing to the development over there, meaning if they have a job or if they already have plenty of degrees, and then they bring them over here and then they tell them. I've heard plenty of immigrants say this. They play them against each other. They tell them that, be careful who you decide to mix with, because African Americans, they're lazy. They don't really work and whatnot, and what blase. And then they come over here already with that mindset that we don't work for anything. We're lazy and we're just violent.
Well,
Along
and
with the
that's
proper,
because they
along
wanted us to
along
have
with the
that perception,
propaganda,
because once we
along
got
with the
freed, the only
propaganda of
workers
cops,
of this country
along with the propaganda of
were
cops.
women.
Everything is done like this for a reason. It's done like this for a reason. They want us to be separated. We African Americans should not think of Africans as, we shouldn't think lowly. We shouldn't think badly of them, because again, they're black just like us. And that's what they don't want, is the unity. That's it. That's why they
I'm a,
already have a
Which
mindset
is
about us coming
exactly
over
why they
here.
come over and they treat. I live where
Yes,
there's a whole bunch of Africans,
programming. It's all
a whole
programming. It's
bunch
all
of
propaganda.
Africans.
It has nothing to do with African Americans and how we act, specifically, because again, we're not a monolith. We all have different lives. We all come from a
Everybody,
different
that's right.
status and everything. It's all propaganda, and it's there for a reason.
I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. Black Americans are not descendants of Africans. This is our land. We were here first. And if you do your history like you say you have, black Indians or black natives had kinky hair and dark skin just like us. Now, if you do your
I'm
history and
just
you look
gonna
back,
interrupt. I'm
a
not
lot
turning
of
on the
a lot
topic.
of
I'm
one
just saying
second,
goodnight
one
to
second.
everybody.
A
I'm just saying
lot of
goodnight. I'm just saying
Caucasians,
goodnight. I'm just saying
okay,
goodnight. That's
a
all.
lot of
Sorry. Good night,
okay,
everybody. Merry
uh,
Christmas. God bless.
Caucasians got their goods to do long trips from Africans. We already had our goods here. This was an undiscovered land. Okay. There is a reason why Africans are not fans of us. And the reason why is, and I've heard many say this, A lot of them are disgusted with us because we don't really know who we are and where we come from.
Yeah, we lost
Now,
our culture. We're the lost people.
we
That's what they
we
call us.
have we have no idea that this is actually our native land. Now, the education has been washed so badly that you truly have to dig to find this. But we own our land, and they don't claim us because we are not them, and they know that we are not them. Now, if you
That's
really
not.
try and look at, we can't,
That's not all
we
the way
can't,
true. For the ones who
we,
really, the
one
ones who
second,
were sold
one
off,
second,
the
one
ones who
second,
were actually sold off,
one
there are
second.
some that we definitely came from here. There's a lot that definitely came from this land for sure. I believe that 110%. But there's also so many that were literally sold off for mirrors and jewelry.
What
Can I
about,
ask unacceptable a
one thing I
question?
have always asked is where are the slave ships? Where are the slave ships? You find all kinds of shit in the museums in regards to Viking ships, which in my opinion is one of the oldest ships out there to be found. But there is no proof of a slave ship.
They literally have destroyed, and they are continually destroying that history because they don't want the white people in America to have this stigma that they are bad. But unfortunately, the truth of the matter is most of them, because again, it's not everybody. No matter what we're saying here, right? And this is for everybody, right? No matter what we say here, these are our own opinions. We are speaking, we can't really speak for everybody else, right?
Everything I said has been fact.
You said what?
Everything I said has been.
Honey, I know you think they have been facts, but
No,
I've been hitting you with facts, and yet you're telling me they're not facts,
I
right? But
read
here's the
books.
problem with some facts: you can literally find, look
Speak
here.
for
Listen to my
yourself.
inflection. Listen to my inflection. All
I
right.
read books.
So let me let you know this: no matter what it is that you want to prove in life, and I don't care, good and or bad,
Like I said,
good
I
and
read
or
books.
bad, there are going to be facts and studies and research to prove even. Actually, there's research and studies to prove every point that all of us have made on this live. Every last one of us.
No.
So your facts are the facts that you say are 100% no matter what. And I'm telling you, the facts that I have are 100%. But
When
see,
one of
that's
us
the thing.
wrong, and it ain't me.
Well, I know you don't think it is,
Nah,
but
some
that's
I ain't
okay
gonna
too,
lie.
boo.
Some of your stuff
You're
is
the one
true.
over
Some
there
of your stuff
who
is
gets
true, and I do
keep
agree.
being
I
nasty.
do agree with some of the stuff you said, but again, most of what I've said, I've got from Brooks. It's not coming just from my brain.
Oh, yeah, I'm not making this stuff up either.
Social experience.
I'm not picking it up. What is it called? Out of thin air, right? I can speak on some of my own personal experiences for sure, but I can also speak on the stuff I learned. And I'm gonna say this: when I was talking about that crab class, and I had to go home and break it down to my mom that no matter how hard you do try, you're just never going to understand what it's like for me to walk in the skin because I am a light skin, but I'm not high yellow, right? So, and me and my mom had a real deep conversation. She had a breakdown about it too. And then, she finally could understand, right? Because there's things that just people aren't going to understand. I am not going to understand what a full white person goes through, right? I'm not. And I'm not going to be able to understand with somebody who is darker than me, even though my personal opinion is the darker you are, the better, because everyone in my black family is so beautifully dark complected. I be in the sun as much as I can during the summertime. I hate my winter complexion. But see, that's that ingrained colorism that, the society, the propaganda has been put on us because everybody on earth, even if they're fucking white, has some melanin. They're just melanin. It's very little, very minuscule that you can't see it. But if you go around worldwide, in America, the goal is to get darker, right? They have tanning salons. They have these oils. They have all this stuff to make you darker. But if you go anywhere else in the world, they have bleaching stuff because the British and the people who colonized all over the place, they came over saying that our color is the best color and this is why we got to be looking like this. But the reality is that's not, thank you, Jesus, that's not the goal of this world, to look at our skin colors and say, nope, we can't deal with that person because of their skin color. Because it comes down to it, all this skin literally means nothing. The skin itself means nothing. It comes down to the character you have inside of you. Because, you know, there's that saying, the YT devil. And I believe it. I believe it. The way that demon be running around this earth, and the way that demon makes everybody think that we're supposed to be like them and we need to be like this and this. That's not cool. That's not cool at all. And me, I'm a believer in God. I don't believe that he was white by any means.
Okay. Can you land your plane?
What?
Can you finish so everybody else can talk?
Okay. Well, you guys.
No disrespect. No disrespect.
No, I appreciate that. Unacceptable. I will say this, and I will get off the live, this part of the live, okay? Because I've got to get back to work. We people in general, everybody, no matter where you're from, have to stop looking at the skin, the clothes. We have to stop looking at the physical, and we have to start being able to read people's spirits. That's my last standpoint. But like I said, I'm gonna get off because I got to get back up into my job here in about 2 minutes. But I'll be in the comments section, y'all. How do I get off?
Thanks for coming up, Slosser. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Of course. All right. Monique, I haven't heard you yet, Monique. I mean, I have heard you before, but I'm just waiting on. Appreciate the follow, Olivia. Thanks for you.
Toxic. I haven't heard them yet.
Might be sleeping. Might be knocked out, honestly.
No, I'm here. I'm just listening to everybody.
All right. Just making sure. All right. So what's up, Lexi? You got something to say, Lexi?
I have been listening the whole time. I was just in the comment section, and yes. First, is my audio okay?
Yes.
It
Okay.
it's okay. When you first started, it kind of said, you know.
I was away from the mic. I'll bring it back up now. One of my biggest concerns when people get involved in interracial relationships, they have a mindset very similar to Cosmic. And I'd be curious to know what prompted you to have your children, because it sounds like you didn't have just one, you had two. I don't know if they're twins or not. But I can only imagine what it's like having a mother that doesn't truly accept my full identity. That's the reason why so many mixed kids have identity issues, because they have parents, either father or mother and or both, maybe grandparents, or they're just they're surrounded by people that really don't want them there. They're surrounded by people who will say things like you said, like, well, I only want my sons to, bring home a Black woman to preserve the race. How are your kids supposed to feel validated in their existence
First off,
as mixed race men?
I never said that I want them to bring home a race. I specifically said, whatever they bring home, I must accept. And I'm consistently hearing everyone mistranslate everything that I'm saying. I'm not saying that I have a distaste for my children. I chose to have them. But in that time, in that moment of having my children, is different so much from now. I wasn't fully aware of what it was that I was doing to my future race. And, I have nothing, and I said this at the beginning, I have absolutely nothing, I don't feel like it's bad for an individual to date outside of their race. But if they have offspring, it is detrimental to our race. There is absolutely no way around that, because our
Like, in your
melanated
mind,
skin
Cosmic,
is
it
then
makes
being washed
sense.
out.
I don't mean
And
to cut you off.
that's
Like,
what
in your
I'm
mind, it
saying.
makes sense. But like, you're speaking to someone who is biracial, right? How am I supposed to feel that, you have regrets towards your decision of having mixed kids? Like, how
I
is a
don't have
person?
regret. I
It
don't have
sounds like
regrets
you
at
might
all.
regret it a little bit. It sounds like you might have a little buyer's
It's
remorse.
not
And it's
regret
not
for her
wrong. It's
kids.
not
Regret.
wrong to have
It's me
kids.
correcting something that I should have taken notice to in the beginning, something that I didn't realize was important. And my race is important. It is important to me. So I am choosing to make sure that if I bring in an offspring, I add into my race. I love
Maybe
my
I'm
children.
not being
They
clear, because
come
I'm
from
just
a
trying to
black mother.
understand.
My
I'm just
children
trying to
come from a
understand.
black
Hold on,
mother.
unacceptable, real quick, because you've had the floor like for 2-3 hours. I'm just honestly trying to understand, as a mother, from your perspective, what are you doing to celebrate the image, the likeness, and the beauty of your own children, because you chose to have them, regardless of how you feel about them, their existence now. You chose to lay down with someone at some point, at least twice, and you gave those kids life. How are they supposed to feel validated in their mixed race identity? You can sit here and say, oh, well, if the mom is black, you're black. If you're seen as black, you're black. Your kids know that they're mixed race, regardless of how they're treated in society. Biracial people are not stupid. We know who we are. Regardless of the labels that people want to place on our laps, we know that we're mixed race. We know that we know who we are. So it's like,
I
what are
teach
you
my
doing to instill a
I
sense of
teach my
pride
kids
in your
I teach
kids?
my I teach my kids to love themselves every day, and I fully educate them on who, because they are, regardless, part black. I teach them every day the importance of their black skin and their mixed skin. I I love my children more than life itself. I fight for them every day. I take full accountability for what I've done. No one else has part in that but me. But the choices I make today also matter. It matters not just for me, it matters for them, and it matters for my race. That has nothing to do with me disliking or liking my children. That has nothing to do with the amount of love that I have for my children. They come from a black mother, and they need to know what it is to love their race. And if it is
Now, imagine if
gone,
you were white,
if
right?
who they
That's
Imagine
not
if
started
a
right
white,
from,
hold
though.
if
on,
who
That's
they
not
unacceptable,
right.
because
started
I'm
They
really
have
just
from,
no
talking to
truth
you
cosmic.
ever.
asked
I'm
me
really
to
just talking to
respond,
cosmic.
so
Real
you need
quick,
to
and then
allow
I'll
me
mute
to
down.
respond.
I will
You
mute
She
asked
down.
me to
is the black
respond.
If
mother.
a white
You asked me
woman
to
had that
respond.
same mentality, hold on. If a white woman had that same mentality of saying, well, I slept with this black guy, and I love my kids, but going forward, I just want my kids to only date white. I want my kids to know their white history, their white, and not just on a macro level, but their white family history. Would that be okay?
The
No.
way they're not
You
Where
know,
loving
where are
this
you
is why I
hearing
said
that
children
I
in this
said
earlier that
that?
world,
certain people don't need to have mixed kids, period.
the
I
way
think a
Where
that
lot
are
of
black
you
people
interracial
are
hearing that I
loving
couples,
in
said
this
that?
world,
I
it's
think
not
a lot of
necessary for a white
interracial
woman to
couples
think
just
like
need to
this.
stay interracial and not involve kids in
You
that. Because if you're
you
not
talking
prepared,
over me isn't going to
if
change
you're
the
not
fact.
prepared to
Those
deal with the
words never
reality of
came
having
out
a
of my
mixed race
mouth.
child, you don't need
Those words
them.
never came out of my mouth.
I'm
But
just
am
interpreting what
I
you're
going to fight
saying.
for my race? Yes, I'm going to fight for my race. Clearly,
That's
that gets under your
insane.
It's
skin.
not
I do
insane. You
not
don't
want my
understand,
race to
Lexi.
be washed
Your
out,
mother is
which is
white.
why I
She is the
choose.
black mother. She's the black mother. So regardless of her kids being mixed, her kids, whether I don't know what their phenotype is. I don't even know if they are white passing, but I do know if they're not, in this world, they will be seen as black. So
Yes,
regardless of them being mixed, they will be seen as black, and they're going to understand what it feels like to live as a black person in this world. And whether you think that that means that she doesn't love her kids, which is crazy because she said she loves her kids. She just understands that her mixing with another race is making the black genetics in her children die out. That's what she's saying. It's not a regret for her children. It's a regret for her not acknowledging her race, and that's okay. She can do that. They will
Okay, so
when they go
unacceptable.
out
Since
into
you
this
want to
world
talk
and
to me, I'll
experience.
talk
Let
to
me finish
you.
because I let you finish. When they go out into
You
this
took a
world
break.
and experience life as black men or black women, they will understand where their mother is coming from. They
But when
will.
I came
And
on here earlier and I
I
said
think
that
that you're a
children
little hurt.
identify with their
I
mothers,
think that you're a
you
little hurt, and I
disagreed with
think that
me.
you're experiencing a little bit of fragility because you have a white mother, and you're not even thinking about your black father in this situation and what he has to go through as a black man in this world. You're only speaking you're only
Can
rebuttaling
I
in
finish my
honor of
point
your
before?
mother.
Because no
You
one
haven't
even
even
asked you
thought
to
about your
unmute.
father, and that shows. It shows everything because
No,
again,
I'm
you
just,
have
what
the
I'm
white mother.
attempting to
She is
do.
the
Can
black
you please
mother.
stop?
It's a
Like, have
totally
some
different
self
thing.
respect. All I am saying is that you have to consider both sides of the equation. All I said is that if a white woman were to say exactly what Cosmic Clover said, y'all would instantly say she's racist and not in a position to raise biracial children. What would make you think that a woman with her mindset would be in a position to rear healthy minded biracial children? She's not. Which is
Because,
why
like
I
I
also,
said,
hold on, unacceptable, which is why I also said a lot of interracial couples don't need to have kids because many of you have internalized issues. I don't know if it's racism, I don't know if it's prejudice, but a lot of you really don't like the reality of having mixed kids.
Or
You don't.
maybe
You're not
it's a
prepared
reality
for
that
it.
we
It doesn't
realize if
matter
we
if the mother
continue
is
to
black,
dilute
the
our
mother
race,
is
we
white,
will
the
no
mother is
longer have
Asian.
one.
A lot of
Did that
people have
thought ever cross your
problems with
mind?
their children
Did that thought
existing.
ever cross your mind? Did the thought ever cross your mind that the reality is that if we continue to mix and dilute our race, we will no longer have one? Because that is my
Ma'am,
main
you
concern.
have two
It has
biracial
absolutely
children.
nothing to do
I
with
can
whether or
almost
not I love my
understand
children or
Cosmic.
not.
I don't mean
And
to
just
raise
so
my
you
voice, and I'm
know,
only
if a
raising it
white
because
woman
people
were to
speak over
say,
me.
if a white woman were to say that she would prefer to keep her blood Caucasian, then that would be her prerogative. And
No,
just
it
so you
wouldn't,
know,
because if she
my
already has
children are mixed with
biracial
Hispanic.
children,
My children are
you
mixed
have.
with Hispanic. They're
So
not
what?
mixed with
Your
white.
children are mixed race, period, Cosmic. That's my point. Let's say it was
Exactly.
there was a lady on here earlier that was white. I don't recall her name, but she dropped down a while ago. If she already had biracial children and she said it was her prerogative to want to keep her white race pure, she would be considered a fucking fool.
But
Y'all
let
would
me
call
tell
her
you why,
racist.
Lexi,
You would
because
say
you
It
that
still
she's
cannot
not in
doesn't change
any
the
understand.
fact
position to
that it's
raise
her
mixed kids.
prerogative.
Let
It
me
still
can I
doesn't
explain
change
it,
the
Cosmic?
fact that that's her prerogative.
Cosmic, I want to explain this to her because it seems like she's not understanding. In
Clearly.
this world, the way that a black person is treated, the black experience in America is totally different from any other group in America. White people hold the standard for everything in society. This world is catered towards them. So if you have a white mother with a mixed race child telling their child that they rather have their child to be a part of the right white race, they want to save their race, it's not necessary because there are no systems of oppression put against their people. This world is made for them to thrive. That's the difference.
I don't think you quite understand how
It's not
evolution works.
necessary.
Yeah, so I just wanted to point out the hypocrisy and say that the best place really for a
Where's
biracial
the
person to be in
hypocrisy?
is
Where's
around
the
other mixed race
hypocrisy in me
people.
wanting to make sure that my race has an
Cosmic,
existence?
you
I
would
can
call a
answer that
You're not
Hold
question in
making
on,
any
simple
hold on,
sense.
sentence if
Petro.
you'd like.
I'm
Where
gonna
is
mute
the
down.
logic in what
I'm
you're
gonna mute
saying?
down. I'm
I,
gonna
I can
respond
answer
to
that
what Cosmic.
question in a simple sentence
I'm
if you'd
going to
like.
mute down as soon as I answer her question. If
All right.
Cosmic, if you didn't have children already that weren't already mixed race, you would have a very valid argument. You're past that argument at this point. So for you to not accept the identity of your children and
You're
to think
speaking
that
off of
you
your
have buyer's
feelings.
remorse because you didn't protect your race,
You're
you're
upset
foolish.
because you think,
It's
oh, I'm a
disgusting
biracial
and it's
child. If my
ignorant.
mother was to ever say this about me,
You
I would be so
saying that I
sad.
don't
But you
accept
don't understand, and
my
that's
children's
okay. But you're
identity
speaking
based
off of
off of what?
feelings. You're speaking off
How
of
are you under the
feelings.
impression that I don't accept my children's identity based off the fact that I want to make sure that my race is still around? That has nothing to do with the love that I have for my children. That
That's
doesn't
That's
make me
still
true.
going to be
prejudiced.
black.
That doesn't make me a
Why did
hypocrite.
you
And
have
that doesn't
kids?
make me a racist either. That
Why
just
did you
simply
have
means that
children?
I
If you have this
understand
in
how detrimental it is to our race to consistently wash it out.
then why did you have
That
kids?
has
That's all I want
nothing,
to know.
because
If you know this,
people's mindset, if people kept the same mindset their entire life, this entire world would be fucked. I'm just
I
gonna go
have
ahead
a
and throw
hard
that
time
out
this
there.
wasn't your mindset to begin with because people don't just become racist. You've had this
Girl, bye.
That
internalized
has nothing
hatred
to
of
Bye,
do
not
bye,
with
black.
me being
bye.
You have
racist.
had
You
this
you choose
That
internalized
not
has
to be.
hatred
nothing
for
to do
other
with me
people
being
You
before
racist.
you
choosing not
had
to be.
kids.
So essentially what you're saying
You saying the
is that
same
unless
thing.
I continue to go on and have children outside of my race, then I'm a racist. That makes no sense. What you just said sounds like crap. The fact that I want to make sure that my race and my lineage it continues has nothing to do with whether or not I'm a racist. I would have never carried two children outside of my race if that was the case.
Why did you have
Here's a
kids though?
question.
That's
I
all
would
I
have
want to
never
know.
married
So
a
how would
Hispanic
you
man
end
Why
your
if
did you
that
have
was
race
the
if
kids?
Homo
case.
sapiens extinct?
Why did you have kids, Cosmic? And why did you have them with a man
We're
that
Homo
wasn't
Because
black?
she
sapiens
wanted to,
sapien.
and that's how she thought at the time. But now she's more educated, and she changed her mind, her mindset. It doesn't matter. Like you
It
stuck. You're
does
stuck, and you're
matter.
sad.
It does
You're
because
Does
there
stuck,
are
it
and you're
kids
matter?
sad.
involved.
You're stuck,
There
and
are
If
you're
you made a
sad
kids.
because
mistake in
you're
the
putting
past
yourself.
and
It's
you chose to change
Instagram.
the person that you were, are you going to continue to be judged based off of that same mistake that you made?
So
If
you
you've
do
made
acknowledge
steps
that
to
your kids
change,
are a
there
mistake.
would be there would be.
You see your mixed kids as a mistake.
I'm
Thank
not
you. Thank
Cosmic
you.
an
I
Clover.
accept now.
example, honey. That's an example.
You talking
Cosmic
in
I'm
Clover.
circles
literally
and
throwing
making an
out a
argument that's
blanket
not even
example.
there. It's an
I'm
Cosmic.
argument that's
not
literally
even
throwing
there.
out a
She
blanket
clearly loves
example.
her
If
children.
someone were to go out and make a mistake, any mistake, not in this regard, if they don't, if they choose to consistently do the same thing over and over, it's no longer a mistake. So if a
Cosmic.
person chooses to change their mindset in regards to something, that should be what matters, not what they do based off in their past. And I'm not saying that my children are a mistake. I'm just saying that my mindset has changed. I'm not saying that my children are not worthy or there's something wrong with them. I'm just saying that I would like to preserve who I am as a person. I would like to keep my lineage on
But
this
didn't you
earth.
do that when
I
you
would
And
had
like
that's
to
kids?
no longer
okay. And
dilute
that's okay. You know
my
what,
lineage.
Cosmic? Don't explain
But didn't
nothing
you
else
do
to
that when
them
you
because
had
they gonna
kids?
think what they want to think. She just asked the same question for the umpteenth time, and she got the same answer. But because she can't get over her feelings and how biracial children now just mixing with people outside of the black race is getting rid of the black genetics, because she can't wrap her mind around that, she's not gonna listen to you. So
Cosmic.
just stop explaining yourself.
All right, well,
Stop
I got a
explaining
better
yourself.
Cosmic.
Why
solution.
are you explaining it? We
What if
know you
mixed
love your
people
children,
just
and
mix
I
with mixed
understand where you're
people?
coming from.
Cosmic.
Yeah.
So may I ask you, you said your mindset changed. So in the past, clearly I'm assuming you had some kind of interactions or relationships with a white person or someone of a different race, and now you don't want that going forward. Can I ask what changed to make you like never want to experience something with that person again?
It's not that's where you're literally not hearing me. But to answer your question, the only thing that changed my mind in regards to having offspring outside of my race is education and realizing how detrimental it. There are so many people today literally having offspring outside of their race that is American, Black American. That if it continues to happen, we will no longer exist. That is my main concern.
And that's
That
why
is
I'm
my
a
main
big
concern.
advocate on black people learning their history. What did I say earlier when this conversation started?
Education.
What did I say earlier when this
Education is what
conversation
changed my
started?
mindset. It
Exactly.
has nothing to do with race.
It said if you educate yourself about your people, nobody should be able to tell you about your people. You will not be stuck in these situations where you did something because you didn't know. Nobody else should be able to tell you as a monoracial black person about your people, period. That's what I said when this conversation started.
Are you a mother?
When I tell you like this world is going to be turned up and flipped inside out about you, it's going to do that. Like everybody's going to have an opinion about you. Not everybody's going to be right.
Unacceptable.
So you need to know about yourself so you can know when it's BS when you hear it. And that's
You're
for
not
all the
wrong.
monoracial black
So we're
people in
actually on
here.
the same page. And I think that we're just kind of saying it differently. We're on the same page. I agree. People need to be taught who they are. Biracial people need to be taught about both of their families' lineages, because why? They're not monoracial. If you are black and you have black children with a black person, by all means, teach your children. Focus on your black history. If you are white, you have children with a white person, teach your children your culture, your history. But when you are interracial, you do have to be a bit more forgiving, a bit more lenient, a bit more curious, a bit more understanding about your partner's history that they're also bringing in. The reason why I have issues with Cosmic is not that she has this mindset, it's that she developed this mindset after she had children. That's the problem.
And it's okay. You can't help when you get educated. You can't. It doesn't mean she love her kids any less. I'm pretty sure she love on her kids every single day. They came out of her.
That
They're
sounds
a
like
part of her.
conditional
But
love,
because she's
because if her
educated on
kids,
her people, more now, she just thinks a little bit differently, and that's okay. She hasn't had any more children yet.
so how are you going to react when your children don't bring home a black woman because they don't want
She just
to
said
deal
she
with?
would accept
I
it. You
just
haven't
said
listened
I'm
to
going
anything
to
she
accept
said. She said she would
whomever they
accept
bring
it. She
home
don't
and love
care.
them as I should. It has nothing to do with race. Why are you so stuck on the fact
Because
you're making it sound like
she's
I'm
thinking as a
racist? It
biracial
has
girl.
nothing to do
That's
with
it.
that.
She's putting
This
herself
is
in their
about
shoes and how she would feel.
preserving my
She's
my
projecting.
race.
Why
She
is
is
it
My
going to
race. This is
project
projecting.
about
if she's
preserving
talking
my race.
about her sons who are also mixed race? Regardless if they're
And
black and
then
Hispanic, they're still mixed. It's okay for
let's
me
hear
as a mixed
everyone's
person to
closing
ask these
statement,
questions.
and then I'm going to end the
You're
live right
And
now.
that's
projecting
fine.
is what you're
I'm
doing
open to
because
hear
she
whatever
just
it is
answered
you
your
have to say or
question.
ask.
She
I
She's
have
answered
not
your
I have
question.
projecting,
no
she's
It's not
just
a
qualms
asking
with that.
questions.
it's not a
I have no
wall. This is
qualms.
the same dumb stuff everybody keeps asking. She just asked the same question. Why you keep
My thing
asking it?
is what I want to reiterate with you is that my children they're being taught to speak Spanish, and they're being taught to speak Spanish by me. They're with Mexicans, with and black. They are fully aware of this.
Hey,
And
the host talking. So, all right, y'all, I'm gonna give y'all closing statements, and then I'm gonna go ahead and end the live because it's getting kind of late right now, and it's about that time that I end the live. I usually end it at 5, but I'm gonna end it a little bit earlier, so y'all can just do y'all.
Do you do these every week?
Hmm?
Do you do this every?
Oh
Okay,
yeah,
I would love
it's
to come on
daily
again.
for when I work nights.
Okay, I would love to come on again.
For sure. But yeah, y'all can get y'all closing statements in, and then I'm gonna go ahead and end the live. I
yeah,
appreciate
well,
everyone coming.
just to address what she was saying, or Lexi, it has nothing to do with whether or not I don't love my children. I love them with every fiber of my being. It is about realizing what it is that I've actually done. If they are not mistakes, I chose to lay down. They were planned children, if you will. But with that being said, it still does not change the fact that I am diluting my lineage. I will always love them. They come from me. And I teach them to embrace who they are. They're speaking not only American English, but they're also speaking Spanish. So they are being taught to love exactly who they are. They have no father in the home to teach them that, but me. I am teaching them to let them know, hey, when you're next to your other people that share your blood, like you share their blood, you can have conversations with them. When you're with your people, you can know who you are and be proud of that. It has nothing to do with me being prejudiced, racist, or whatever it is that you think. It is simply me trying to preserve my Black heritage. And it may not be important to you or anyone else, but it is important to me. And if we educate ourselves today or tomorrow or a year from now, it doesn't matter when. What matters is that we educate ourselves, because it is not okay to run around and consistently be nescient. We have no excuse, because then at that point, once we are all washed out, it will then fall on us.
All right, anyone else got anything else to say? No?
I want every monoracial Black person in the live to know and realize the propaganda that's put onto your people. Learn about yourself. You should never be in a situation where anybody of any other race should be able to tell you about your people. Read books, do your research, look up things that you just don't simply know the answer to. You need to know about yourself and know that the people that look like you are beautiful, and it's nothing about them that you should try to shy away from. Never feel like you have to dim your light, never feel like you have to code switch, never feel like you have to act anything other than yourself when you're around these people, because it's for a group of people to have, for the whole world to make a group of people feel inferior to everybody else, especially systematically. It's something about you. It's something about you. It's something that's in you that they don't want you to see. So remember that.
Okay. So I was going to say, Homo sapien is extinct. We are all Homo sapien sapien. Unacceptable and cosmic, you both are beautiful. And I hope that hits your soul. That's all.
All right, Monique, Jazz, Isabella, Tetra, y'all got anything to say? And Lexi?
I just want to say thank you. This was a very fun live, but thank you to Lexi, because I think we share a lot of similar experiences as well. So it was really cool getting to be on here with you. Yeah, and most everyone in here was respectful throughout this, except for a couple of people. But
All right. Who else did I say? Lexi?
For having me on. I enjoyed the conversation, even when it got a little heated. Shout out to all the interracial couples that are raising their kids to be proud of all of who they are. I sent you a follow host and a few other people here, and y'all have a great night.
All right, for sure. What about you, Monique?
it at me, I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to all the people who feel like, black people shouldn't be pro-black, because that make me go harder. The fuck?
You're Monique.
Yeah, make sure I can get in. Thanks for having me up here, even though I didn't really get to say much. But I really enjoyed listening to everybody what they said. I understood what Cosmic was saying. Unacceptable. Both of you guys, I understood everything you were saying, and I'm not even black. As far as interracial couples, Lexi, kind of hit me when you said we shouldn't have children. My husband and I, we teach our daughter cultures, both sides. We raise her to understand her black culture and her Yaqui Indian Mexican culture. So it all depends on the parents on how you raise them.
What I said, just to clarify, I was referring to Cosmic, not yourself, Monique. I agree with everything that you said briefly. If couples have an issue with their children identifying as mixed race or celebrating all of who they are, then they don't need to have children. If your kids are being raised to be proud of who they are, then that's absolutely encouraged. Absolutely.
Again, nobody in this live, even the women who have mixed race kids, they never once said that they didn't raise their kids to be that way. So again, shout out to everybody who thinks that black people shouldn't be pro-black, because y'all are the reason I go harder.
Okay, one thing I'm going to say is, you know what I'm saying, let's, next time we do have a chat, you know what I'm saying, let's all at least like try to hear each other out and, you know what I'm saying, not lash at each other and
Until
stuff.
5:30.
We
Right
try
now,
not
it's
to
the end of
lash
the
at each
conference for
other
you
and
guys.
stuff, and at least the people in the comments don't incite the BS. Come on now, like we all trying to have a nice old discussion here. I'd rather not people be at each other's throats and people in the comment section going nuts talking about this person's stupid and that this that. It's like, come on, man, like we're all human beings. That is exactly what's keeping us divided now. That's all I want to say.
Why does everyone come at Ghoulie? Russell, shut your
I don't
ass
know,
up,
man.
dude.
Them
They're
motherfuckers
coming
crazy,
at you
man.
all live, man. Golly.
They love me.
So, who else? Tetro, you got anything?
They both knew that they were beautiful. I'm not going to tell them to believe what they can't believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just want to make sure that they at least feel something.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. What about you, Jazz? I think she's knocked out. Jazz, I haven't heard of her
It
since.
was fun. I'm glad I got a chance to voice my opinion unapologetically. So I like how you handled the live and just let people, handle it on their own. Because when I get on other lives, they tend to like mute people when they don't agree with them, or they'll drop them and try to make the narrative what they want it to be. And I love that you didn't do that. So I will be back if you have another live.
Oh yeah. And I don't know if she's still in here. Shanti, sorry I couldn't get you back in, but I appreciate you coming up too. So yep. That's all though. Yeah. So I hope you all have a good night, and I appreciate you all coming up, all right? Thank you all.
Bye, bro.